guys, it's Maya. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on our video today. As you can see by the title, this reading is all about how and when you'll come into union. So this could be about somebody that's already on your mind, somebody that you want to get into union with, or this could be about a brand new person, and you can view these as like, the next time you get into union with somebody. So like your next relationship with somebody, even if you don't have a specific person on your mind. So my intentions for this reading is that no matter if you're single, if you have somebody on your mind, if you're just coming out of a connection, it's like my intentions is that anybody in any stage of life can find this video and watch it, and it helps them. So that's why this can truly be about anybody and any point in your love life, no matter what's going on, all about how and when you'll come into union, or how you will meet and come into union with your next person. So I do have a breakdown of our reading today. We have a lot to talk about. I will go into details in the groups after we get into it, but I do want to mention we do have an extended reading today, so there is truly a lot to discuss. We have 4 groups for you guys to choose from. Each group has a different tarot deck, has a different crystal, but I'm actually showing you the same card this time out of all of the groups. I'm going to be showing you the Lovers, and I just thought that was kind of interesting because normally I do different cards for different groups, but I thought it was kind of cool to see the same card but different variations of that card. So I will be showing you the Lovers. Let me go ahead and show you all of your options up close one by one. Group 1, this is the Field Tarot. This is what the back looks like, and this is an amethyst chunk. And here is the Lovers. Group 2, this is the Ethereal Visions Tarot. This is what the back looks like, and this is a green buttstone. And here is your Lovers card. Group 3, this is the Cat Tarot. This is what the back looks like, and actually I don't remember the name of this little crystal, but she is really pretty. So that's that, and here is your Lovers card. In Group 4, this is the Phantasma Tarot. This is what the back looks like, and your crystal is this white jade. And your card is the Lovers, which says love. Okay, you guys, here are all of your options laid out for you side by side. Keep in mind that you can watch as many as you would like, because maybe there's more than one person on your mind, or there's just multiple, things going on. So it's totally okay to watch as many as you would like. I'm gonna get started with group number 1. Hey guys, if you chose the Field Tarot with this Lovers card and this amethyst cluster, this is your group. Hello, group number 1. I think I'll set your crystal right there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's move this to the side. Let's quickly go over our breakdown for our reading today. So this is how and when you'll come into union. Like I mentioned, we have an extended today, but here on YouTube, we're going to be looking at the current energies of the connection. So I'm going to be looking at your energy and also this person's energy, whoever is coming through. We'll go ahead and see what are the circumstances or the series of events that will lead up to your union. We'll see it both on your side and on this other person's side, and then we will also see what will union be like and any advice for the journey to union. So that's what we're talking about here on YouTube, and I will go over our extended once we are done with everything, so that way there's a smooth transition. Okay, so let's get into it. One thing I noticed with this Lovers card compared to the other Lovers card that we saw is that this is the only card where these people were facing away from each other, and I'm not sure if you noticed that or if that was something that you took into account when you chose your group, but they're facing back to back. But all the other cards, the Lovers on the cards, they were embracing each other or looking at each other or kind of holding each other from like side to side or like facing forward, but this one it's like back to back. So I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, I just thought I would mention that because that stood out to me. Okay, so I want to start off with the current energies of the connection, so that way if this is for you. Because if the current energies doesn't sound like you, then definitely check out a different group. We're going to be looking at your energy over here. So my intentions when I pull the cards is that this is group one's current energy, and then this is your person or the other person that we are talking about here. This is their current energy, and then this is kind of the energy or like a mutual energy between the two of you. And I do want to mention that if you don't have a person on your mind right now, or you don't know, like, you know, you're not asking about somebody specific, then that's totally okay, because this could just be about the next time that you are in a partnership with somebody, or you do come into union with somebody. It could be anybody. So I just want to make that clear. I didn't mention it in the intro, but I just want, you know, I want anyone to be able to watch this today, whether you have somebody or on your mind or you don't. But again, you know, say if you do have a very specific connection in mind and this doesn't sound like it, then definitely check out a different group, or the other way around. You know, if you're asking about just anybody and you don't have something specific on your mind, then, and this is something specific, then definitely check out a different group. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start off with group one's current energy. So this is just your current energy in life. You know, this is just you, what's happening to you, just everything, you know, nothing specific about love. This is just anything about your current energy in life right now. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, I might have to move this out of frame. Okay. We have the Queen of Cups. Oh, and with the Two of Angels with balance. I love that. Let's go ahead and look at your person's current energy. So again, this is just their current energy in life right now. You both got major arcanas. We got Strength. Oh my gosh, we have the Lovers. Oh, that's interesting, because we were just talking about how in this Lovers card, their energy, like, you guys are kind of facing back to back, or the people on the cards are, and then we were talking about in the other ones how they're more embracing each other, and this is definitely two people embracing each other. Wow, you got the Queen for group one's energy, and then whoever this is, they got the King with King of Stars with Alchemist. So this is the King of Wands. So that's interesting. We already have the feminine energy on this side, and then we already have the masculine energy on this side. I feel like for this person's current energy, they are ready for some kind of a serious commitment. So as of right now, I can't 100% tell if, like, you guys know each other. I don't know. I think, you know, just kind of take it how it resonates. You know, you definitely could. But it feels like on this person's side, it just feels like they're ready for a serious relationship. They're ready for something long term. They're ready to, like, put the time and effort into a connection. They're ready to, like, take care of somebody. They're ready to settle down. This energy really feels like somebody who's, like, getting older, but getting wiser and mature, and they just realize, like, I just want to love somebody and I want to be loved. There is, like, this compassion and this loyalty that I'm sensing from this person's energy, to where they're, like, ready for this. And I almost feel like they're manifesting you. They're manifesting this connection with you because they're ready for a connection like this. I also feel like they are definitely manifesting, like, a mature, maybe spiritual person, but definitely somebody who's mature and who kind of has, like, their shit together, is how I'm seeing it. Because with the King, this is somebody who is pretty evolved. You know, they're not a young kid. So it does feel like this is somebody who probably has things going for them in their life. Maybe they already have a foundation. They already have, you know, they already have their career, or they already kind of know who they are and what they're doing, and they're seeking somebody who is on that same level. And it's interesting because it really feels like you are on their level, because here we have the Queen of Cups. So you're already, like, matching each other in that sense with a king and a queen. And then so we have the Queen of Cups, and then we have the Two of Angels for with the keyword balance, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Group one, I love this energy for you, and I think you would know immediately if this is your energy or not, because with the Queen of Cups, this is somebody that is incredibly evolved in life right now. They're very spiritually evolved. They are emotionally evolved, mentally, physically. they're very, very evolved as a human being. And it also feels like somebody who is an old soul. And I think you're in a phase in your life, not phase, I should say, you're more in like a stage or like an era in your life where you just don't take things seriously the way you once did, especially when it comes to your peace of mind and your mental health. I feel like maybe at one point in time, maybe, you know, you did not take care of your mental health, or you weren't good with finding balance within yourself and within like all aspects of your life. But it feels like you really prioritize your mental health, and you really prioritize your happiness in this era of your life. I love that we have the keyword balance here. And even this kind of reminds me of the Temperance card. And it feels like you've just found a lot of balance in your life. And it feels like you're genuinely very happy with who you are, and very happy with how your life is going. And it also feels like you would not just date anybody just to date. It feels like you're very protective of your energy because, again, you found peace. You're not going to let somebody come in and just ruin it. So it feels like you are also looking for a very specific person, which is this person that's coming through. And it's actually so interesting because I don't think either of you are like actively looking for a relationship. It feels like you're manifesting, you know, each other. You're manifesting certain qualities within a partner, and the other person has these qualities that you are looking for. But I don't think either of you are going out into the world and like looking for somebody. I don't think you're like actively dating or actively like trying to find somebody. I don't feel a sense of urgency from either of you guys. It just feels very like natural, and like I'm just growing, I'm healing, I'm living my life, but it would be nice to have somebody, you know. That's what it feels like. And I love that both of you have a major arcana coming through, because that also shows me that in your own individual lives, you're both very spiritual. And I think you both realize like there is a higher purpose for everything. And you have gone through your own transformations, and you kind of came to this point in life where you realize like, you know what, things are just gonna happen. I can't force things, you know, I'm not gonna try to resist things. Like, I'm just gonna let things flow freely in and out of my life. And I think both of you have found a lot of happiness and a lot of peace within that kind of a mindset here. And it's interesting, both of your keywords say yes. And Leo is on both of these cards because Leo is a fixed sign, but here we have the all the fixed signs. So we have Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo. Here we have water signs, so Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So we have Scorpio up here twice, and then this is Libra energy, specifically Moon in Libra. And then here again Leo, and then we have Gemini with the Lovers, and then we have Fire with the King of Stars, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's interesting, you're kind of like water heavy, and this person is kind of fire heavy, which I feel like you could have a good balance for each other, with each other. It's kind of like you balance each other out in a really good way. I don't know why it's coming through like this, but it feels like you're not top heavy, and I don't know why. I'm trying to like, I don't know when in my life I used to use that term, but it is a term, I swear to God, where something is like top heavy, like there's too much going on and it's like unbalanced. But so that's kind of what it feels like, but it feels like you guys are not that way. It feels like both of you bring your own strengths and weaknesses, but you balance the scales for this connection really well, or you will balance this really well. One thing that's coming through specifically for this person here is that they definitely come off as like somebody who's not serious, which is so funny because I think as this person is getting older, they are becoming very serious when it comes to relationships and their long-term future. But I think this person, for one, they're very handsome. And I'm saying handsome because there is a masculine energy here, but they're very handsome or very beautiful. They're just very physically attractive, and it's like no matter where they go, like people are looking at them, you know, everyone, you know, they just catch everyone's attention because they are so beautiful on the outside. And I also think with all the fire here, they just have a very specific personality of like that fiery, excited, extroverted, confident person. And I think like people just gravitate towards them. It's probably easy for them to date, or for them to like find people that want to date them. And especially you know, especially if they have money and they have things going for them, it's like I feel like they definitely come off as like a bachelor vibes. And I feel like when you would first meet them, you would kind of be like, oh, this person is so unserious. Like they're so like not looking for anything serious. And I will say that like they are looking for one very specific person, which is you. But it's like they kind of just go through their life, and yeah, like that's just their personality. You know, they're not gonna like hold themselves back because that, you know, that's just who they are and that's just how they carry themselves through life. But it feels like they are flirtatious, and they probably do flirt with people, but I feel like they have their heart reserved for one specific person and they haven't found that yet. So I do think that like if you're not what this person is looking for, then maybe they're not looking for anything serious with you. But if you are that one person that they're looking for and you catch their attention, then I think they would be extremely loyal to you and you would see a very different side to them than like anybody else would see. So yeah, actually one difference that's coming through, I feel like this person probably is okay with casually dating. You know, they probably do date. And I think this person is more reserved. I think your energy is coming through as more just reserved, and you're not even casually dating. You know, I think that you probably don't go on that many dates, or you're just like, you know, you're just like, for you it just feels like what's the point, like what's the point to even casually date, what's the point to even put myself out there, you know, if I know I'm not going to find what I'm looking for here. And so then I think you just kind of do your own thing, you're a bit reserved, you know, you kind of don't put yourself out there in that way. But I just feel like this person is okay with casually dating here and there, you know. Okay, yeah, so this feels like more reserved on your end, more sensitive, whether that's just your personality is that you are just sensitive, or maybe you're spiritually sensitive, like you're psychic and you pick up on spiritual things or energies and you kind of just picking up on things, you know. So you could be sensitive in many ways. I think this person is not that sensitive. This person could even be kind of straightforward and kind of blunt, but maybe you more like sugarcoat things, or you don't want to be mean to somebody, so you kind of you're not as straightforward when it comes to certain things. But it's interesting because I think deep down both of you are actively looking for a partner, looking for a serious relationship. And I think for for group one, I think that you really trust the universe, especially with the Wheel of Fortune here, which is just talking about destiny. You know, I feel like you have put this in Spirit's hands and you're like, you know what? Whenever you want me to be in a relationship, like I know that person will come into my life. I know that it'll be the right place at the right time with the right person, and there's no need for me to force it or chase it, because I know that like when I'm destined to be with somebody, it will happen. I feel like you have a lot of faith within the universe, and maybe it's not just with relationships, but maybe it's with everything, you know. Maybe you just have a lot of faith for all aspects in your life. But I think specifically relationships, you just know that like when you are meant to meet somebody, you will meet them. And it's like that's why you are kind of reserved and you're not constantly putting yourself out there, because you just know that like when this is meant to come into your life, it will find you. So I think you're very trusting in the spirit, in the universe in that way. And I think for this person, they almost don't know. I think they could have hit a point in their life where they just don't know if they have somebody. Maybe they've been through some kind of like rough relationships or situations in the past, and they kind of, especially if they're kind of getting older, I think this person does question it. They're like, like, do I even have somebody? You know, will I find this person I'm looking for? I think they doubt it. I think I think that you maybe from time to time get a little impatient, but I don't think you doubt the universe. I think you are pretty sure, even if it's not happening as fast as you want it to, I think you're pretty sure that like you will find somebody. But I think this person doubts it. They're just like, I just don't know if I have somebody. I don't know if I'm gonna meet this person. So there's almost like pessimism on this person's end in a way, which makes it kind of sad. I think in a way they've become cold, not like cold-hearted, but yeah, in a way like they've become a little cold when it comes to finding the love of their life. And so it's kind of sad. There is an element of sadness to this person. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like the mutual energy that's going on between the two of you, whether you know each other or you don't know each other. I will say, from what I'm sensing, I don't know if I'm getting like you guys know each other. For some of you, it's possible that you know each other, but I think for a lot of you, this is like two completely different people that are just like, that have never met. Maybe at the very least, you know of each other. For some of you, like maybe you know each other from like work or social media or something, but I think like that's like, or I mean, sorry, I think at the very most, you know of each other, but I'm really not sensing that you have had any type of an actual relationship or an actual connection with this person. It really feels like two strangers. And what's interesting is in this one, we see two of the Queen of Cups on this card. And then we see like two of almost the same person in this as well. So that's interesting to me that it's almost like two of the same thing. And I think for group one here, it feels like you've had to be very strong with everything you have gone through in life, and you've really had to be there for yourself. I'm just like seeing this as like twice the work, or having to show up for yourself twice as hard, like twice as much. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels like at some points, or at some point, maybe this still happens to you, but it feels like when nobody else could fill in a void, you had to do it yourself. And I think that's another reason that, like, even though that's kind of sad and that is a little heavy, I think that's another reason you're really like so okay with being alone and so okay with being independent, because you've always had to be there for yourself even when nobody else was. Like, because in contrast, on for this person, like, we see that they're okay with casual relationships. So maybe they, you know, at points in their life, they have used other people to fill the void within themselves. But it feels like you don't really do that, or you have not done that. You've always been there to fill your own void. And because of that, it's made you much stronger, and it's made you realize that like you don't need temporary satisfaction in that sense. So yeah, you're coming through as incredibly strong and mature and evolved, and probably even more than this person is on this side. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is the energy that's flowing back and forth between the two of you. We have the Magician. That makes a lot of sense, because we were already saying that like you are manifesting a certain person. It does feel like both of you are manifesting each other, whether you know them or you don't. If this is like, say like somebody, you know, at the most like you know them to some extent, then it does feel like, I don't know, like I don't know, guys. You know me, I'm very honest. I just feel like I would know if you've had a relationship with this person before. So honestly, I just don't know. I feel like if you are 100% like 100% set in stone that the person you are asking about is an ex, or somebody you've had some kind of a connection with more than just like knowing each other at a distance, then I feel like, I don't know if this is your group, because this feels very new. Even this, it also, with this being the Magician and being about like manifestation, you don't know that you're manifesting each other. You know, this is an energy of like two people that are just kind of doing their own things, but they have this idea of who they want in a partner, and they are manifesting each other without realizing it. So it's like, this person does not know they're manifesting group one, and group one does not know they're manifesting this person. And that's why, again, it just feels like you're not manifesting each other as who you are as human beings. You're manifesting each other's energies, which really just makes me feel like you guys don't know each other. But okay, let me move all these up here, and we will go in now to see what is going on? And even with this Magician being here, and this is another major arcana, you could definitely be picking up signs and synchronicities from each other, because this is very subconscious, especially when it comes to that manifestation that I'm picking up on. So it's like your higher selves could be sending signs and synchronicities and doing all these like weird things back and forth. And I think like your human selves are picking up on little things here and there, and you know, maybe you're following them, maybe you're not, but I do think there's signs and synchronicities, and there is manifestation going on beyond our 3D. Okay, I have your deck here, and then I actually grabbed another deck, and this is going to be for this person's energy. So that way we can see if there's any repeating energies on your journey to union. So I will start off with your side. So the way I'm going to do this is we're going to see what are the circumstances or series of events that will lead to your union. So I'll probably get like, we'll do 3 cards, and then we'll do 1 card for union, and same thing on their end, 3 cards, and then 1 card for union. Okay, so for group 1, what is their journey to union? Let's get 3 cards. What does the journey to union look like for group 1? What is their first card? Okay, you got 2. We have 5 of Wands with competition, and we have the Fool with beginning. I'll keep these together. Journey to union. Oh my gosh, you keep getting 2 at the same time. Whoa! Very intense coincidence. You got Prince of Cups and Princess of Wands. You got a prince and a princess out at the same time with introspection and exploration. Okay, and then let's see. Group 1's journey to union. What is next right before union? We have the Ace of Discs with wealth. Okay, you got a lot of cards out. So let me... And then let's get 1 card for union, for when group 1 will reach union with this person. Can we get 1 card for when group 1 will reach union? When they will reach union with this person. Oh, taking a while. This union card. 1 card for union for group 1 and this person. Okay, that took a while. But we have the Sun. Okay, you have a lot of cards out on your side, which makes me feel like you're going through a lot of changes, or it's like there's just a lot happening on your side from when you start this journey all the way to union, which is the Sun card here for your end. So let's, oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and see what is the journey to union on your person's end. Okay, trying to make more space. Okay, journey to union on their person's end. We have the Chariot. Journey to union. What is after the Chariot for their person? Think about Thanksgiving. I don't know why. Like Thanksgiving food. I don't know. I might just be really hungry right now. What's coming in after the Chariot for their person? Cards are taking a while for both of you. Ooh. Ooh, okay, Eight of Cups. Let's get one more card on Journey to Union. Ooh, the Empress. Over. Need more space here. Okay, let me get one card for union for this person. When will they reach union with group 1? When will they reach union? Okay. Oh my god, look at that. The Lovers flipped over. The Magician and the Knight of Pentacles came out for the union card, so that's really interesting. Okay, let me kind of gather my thoughts really quick, adjust these really quick. Okay, I will start on your end here for your journey to union. Now, I am seeing this as like 3 different stages. Like this is happening together, this is happening together, then this is happening, and then this is your union. So to start off with the first stage, oh, and I should actually mention, when you are watching this, group 1, you can be anywhere on the spectrum. So if this is, you are like right about to get into union with this person, it's happening like this week, it's happening like now, then if you're like kind of on this side, you know, if these are 3 stages, if you are closer to this first stage or kind of entering this first stage, then you can, you know, then it'll be a little bit while before you get to union. But for some of you, like if you're like right here, then union is like the next thing that's coming up. So again, it just depends person by person where you are on in your own journey. But like that's, you could be here, some of you could already be here. So that's why for a time frame, we'll actually talk about that in the extended, but that's kind of what's happening for the time frame. Okay, so for your first stage here for group 1, you have the 5 of Wands with competition, and you have this card of beginnings, which is the Fool. When I see these together, I feel like there is an energy of surrendering on your end. And I think this surrendering starts a spiritual transformation for you. And it kind of opens up, I'm seeing it as like it's opening up the portal, because we already see that your current energy is very spiritual and it's very evolved. When I saw this, you know, surrendering and this beginning, it feels like living your authentic life. You are surrendering the need to suppress yourself. You're surrendering the need to fight yourself, or you're surrendering the need to like hide who you really are. Because this beginning really makes me feel like this person is showing up as their authentic self, and like nothing is going to change that, and nothing is going to get in the way of that. I feel like you could have gone through something pretty intense, especially with competition here and the 5 of Wands. You know, there is conflict with the 5 of Wands. You could have gone through something internally where your mental health probably got kind of bad, or maybe physically things got really bad for you, to where you realize like you can't keep living a false narrative, or you can't keep living a certain lifestyle when it just didn't align to who you really are as a person. So I see this as like somebody who is really surrendering and allowing themselves to like really become who they are, to step into this new light and to be more authentic to who they are. So this could be like, you know, some kind of a tower moment, you know, if it's something really intense internally that kind of caused you to realize you have to change something up, or this could be something externally, you know, some kind of a tower moment where things around you were falling apart and you realize that you kind of have to surrender and you can't fight something anymore. But that's what that's feeling like right here. And I feel like this would lead you to having a bit of a spiritual awakening or a spiritual upgrade. And I feel like you could go into this energy even being spiritual, but this is kind of like, it's almost just unlocking another level within spirituality, you know, because then we have introspection and exploration. So with the Prince of Cups, you know, we can even view this as just Princess of Cups. They're just somebody who is having an introspective moment. This is talking about healing. This is talking about waking up and realizing your true potential, realizing who you really are, what you really want, what your true purpose is, what your true talents are, what your gifts are, what your destiny is. I feel like this is you walking away from some conflict or some resistance. You know, you've surrendered and you realize, like, I want to live an easier life. I want things to flow smoother. I just want things to be easy again. And then you kind of step into this introspective energy to where you allow yourself to find it, you know, find what you are looking for. But there is a lot of emotional healing that comes from this. So I feel like the first step is kind of tough. There is some turbulence here of, like, you know, what's really going on and what do I do? But then once you surrender, you're stepping into a much more peaceful energy within yourself. And I love that we have the Princess of Wands with exploration, because that right there is showing you that you're stepping into this new stage as a very confident person, you know, because I almost feel like you're happier now that you're not resisting, you're not holding something back, you're not being fake. Like, it feels like you're happier now because you're not putting up a front that you once used to do, or you're just like not living the life that you were living up here. So it just feels like things are much more peaceful, you know, and you're able to really learn about yourself, and you're able to move on with your life as a more authentic version of who you are. And then after that, I love that we have the Ace of Discs. So this is the Ace of Pentacles, because this is showing me that you are planting seeds as a new you know, because now it has opened up a new door, or many doors, opened up many new opportunities for you. Because even in this, it feels like this person is walking away into something new, you know, really starting over in some area of their life, or maybe completely starting over in life. And then here we see that they're taking the opportunities that they're getting now, and they are planting their seeds. They are trying to build something stable, build a stable foundation, take care of themselves, provide for themselves, provide a sense of independence for themselves. So it really feels like at the start of this journey to union, something is holding you back, group one. Something is really in the way. Something is restricting you. It's like tying you down. It's not letting you do what you want to do. And you detach from it, you break free from it, and you're learning more about yourself, more about the life you want to live, and then you're finally bringing it to fruition with this. And then it feels like right around the corner, as this new and evolved version of yourself, that's when we see the Sun. And this is your union card. And this is also what will union be like for you. And the Sun is the happiest card in the deck, which actually what makes me think, for some of you, maybe you're leaving a toxic relationship, and then you're finding your independence, you're healing, you're growing, and now you find something healthy. And that's what's making you so happy. Because yeah, this is the happiest card in tarot. So for the Sun to be your union card, you are just overjoyed by this person in your life, by this energy. You're just like, oh my God. And I think, again, there's so much psychic activities going on with this energy here. You're like, wait a second, do I know you? Like, were we just communicating spiritually for like the last like 6 months, or for the last like year or something? Like, have we been sending signs and synchronicities back and forth? I think when you meet this person, everything kind of clicks and everything makes sense. And you realized that everything had to happen the way it happened for you to get here. And it also feels like you wouldn't get here and you wouldn't meet this person if you didn't break free from something. So if it's not a toxic relationship, maybe it's like a toxic family. Maybe it's a toxic environment, a toxic career. It feels like whatever it is, you had to break free from something. Or this is even within your own mental state, or yourself, you know, if it's not something physical around you. But it feels like you had to break free from something in order to get here. And you're just going to be so happy and so overjoyed that, like, you found somebody like this, for this to be your union card. It could also be on a sunny day, you know, if we're looking at the Sun quite literally. It could be a sunny day. It could be outdoors. It could be like you're traveling or on the beach, or like something sunny and daytime and outdoors, you know, could be where you meet this person. Okay, so then for their side, we see the Chariot, and then we see the Eight of Cups. And it's so interesting that the Chariot comes before this. I feel like this person, on the start of their journey to union, they're going to do something impulsive, and they're like running into it headfirst without thinking about it. or they're getting like tangled up in something, whether it's a relationship, a person, a job situation, or just impulsive things in life. Like it could be anything, but it feels like this person is like running headfirst into some kind of a dead end, and they're not realizing it in the moment because it's a very impulsive, they're doing something very impulsively and they're not thinking about it. But that impulsive action leads them to that dead end, which kind of jumpstarts a sense of awareness or a sense of spiritual awakening for this person. Because I think once they crash, I'm saying like, not literally, but like they are hitting a dead end. So it does feel like they're going to crash and burn to some extent because of something impulsive that they are doing without thinking about it, which is going to ultimately lead them to that self-awareness. Because I almost feel like at the start of this journey for this person, wherever they are in life, they're not aware. And maybe they were impulsive, you know, maybe they were or are impulsive and are more of, yeah, that impulsive energy that we were talking about earlier. Maybe it's like they really do that on a regular basis, but something is like they're gonna hit a wall in some way, and it's gonna cause them to kind of like reevaluate their entire life and gain some self-awareness within themselves. And it's gonna like cause them to think about all of the decisions they've made up until now, everything they have done up until now. They're going to be thinking about it, and it's all going to come up to the surface. And that's why I see this as some kind of like an ending for them, but there is a rebirth in this process, and there's going to be some kind of a transformation that comes out of this crash and burn that they are going through. So at the end of the day, it's almost like a good thing that they are being impulsive about something, because it's finally causing, it's that wake-up call that they need, and it's finally happening for them. So that's like the start of their journey. And then they go through like a long period of healing, because this is slow, this Eight of Cups. It's a slower energy of, yeah, that wake-up call and really fixing things in life and taking better care of themselves and trying to get back on the right path. But I love that we then have the Empress as we're kind of moving closer to union on this person's end, because this could be the Empress or the Emperor. You know, this is just somebody who is finally feels confident within themselves again, who's finally gained that stability back after losing it. I do feel like they almost gamble something away. Like something is so impulsive that like they really lose a lot of what they had without realizing it. And they're slowly gaining it back. And they're slowly gaining that foundation back, that confidence back. They're slowly becoming this new version of themselves. And it's interesting because then we have the Knight of Pentacles. I think that they had to crash and burn for this person to take it slow and to like be practical and to be realistic in life. Because it feels like when they come into union with you, I love that the Magician is out here twice, you guys. When they come into union with you with this Knight of Pentacles here, I think they're going to take it extremely slow. And they're just going to be like, you know what, we're taking it one step at a time. And I think they're almost like hesitant, because it feels like you are ready to kind of, like you are more excited right away than they are. I don't know if you can kind of sense that like this is the real deal, this is going to be like your next relationship. Like I feel like maybe you can sense it quicker than them. Maybe they're still kind of like working through whatever it is they're working through, you know, but it almost feels like they're gonna move into this very slowly, but they're gonna be very excited with that Magician. I think that there's that initial excitement, but I think they have to remind themselves to slow down because they don't want to crash and burn again. So I think you're approaching the union with two different mindsets, because you have been healing for a while. So now you're going into this with your heart on your sleeve, and you're very excited and you're ready and you're optimistic and you're like, let's go, like I've been waiting for you and I'm so excited. And then I feel like for them, they really crashed and burned, and they're like very hesitant about what they're doing now. And they're like, wait a second, okay, like I like you and the sparks are here, and like, you know, I can sense that we've been manifesting each other, and like they can sense that something is going on spiritually between the two of you. But I think they just don't want to jump into it, even though they're excited. I think they're going to take their time before they jump into anything here. But this is very nice. I think Again, this is like a spectrum, so kind of see where you fall, and that'll show you, you know, what's happening next in your journey to union with this person. But with the Magician here out twice, I do think you're both actively manifesting each other in a very positive way. And I think the advice I have for you about your journey to union is in order to get on this journey to union, you have to walk away from something that's holding you back. And that's going to be different for everybody, but you have to walk away from what's holding you back, and that's the only way you're going to get on path to eventually meet this person here. Okay, so I want to end off our YouTube section with the Hidden Truth Oracle now. So if you guys have somebody on your mind, again, I don't feel like everyone has somebody on their mind, but if you have somebody on your mind, whether it's this person or whether it's somebody from your past, this is just an opportunity for you to channel anybody, you know. So if there's anybody in the world, past or present, that you want to hear from, and it doesn't have to be this person, it could be somebody completely different. But just use this opportunity. If there's anyone that you want to hear a specific message from, go ahead and think about them, and I will pull some cards. It says, I left you before you could leave me. I'm starting to understand our connection. So many things remind me of you. So this definitely, you know, I definitely think this is somebody from your past that's saying this to you. I don't think this is this person. I don't think, I mean, who knows, maybe for some of you, but for a lot of you, I do think this is somebody from the past. All right, anything else? I'm afraid to contact you. I'll take this top one. I wish I had treated you better. Okay, you guys, that is everything that we have for our YouTube portion of this reading. So now in the extended, we're going to see what could potentially speed up the journey to union. So like, is there anything you could do? You know, like today, tomorrow, is there anything you could do to potentially speed this up? And then we'll also see what could potentially slow it down, you know, if there are certain things you don't want to do. So we'll talk about that. And then we will also see how aligned are both of you and your person to the union. So we will see, like, are you aligned for this to come in soon, or is it going to be a while? You know, we will see that. And then we'll also get an exact time frame, or I'll try to get somewhat of an exact time frame of when is union likely to happen. So that's what we're looking at in the extended, you guys. So if this is where I'm leaving you off, that is totally okay. Thank you so much for letting me give you this reading. Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support here on YouTube. I do offer private readings. If you're interested, go ahead and email me. My link is in the description. And this extended is actually going to be up on Patreon, so it'll be available to everyone who's already subscribed to Patreon, or you can purchase it as an individual reading if you don't want to subscribe. But Patreon has a bunch of exclusive content, and then, you know, it also has extendeds from time to time as well for everyone that's on there. So if you're interested in joining, go ahead and check that out, or you can purchase the extended as a one-time reading, and that's totally okay too. So thank you guys so much for being here. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, if you chose this Lover's card with the Ethereal Visions Tarot and this green budstone, this is your group. Hello, group number 2. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's go over our breakdown really quickly. So this is all about how and when you'll come into union. And like I mentioned in the intro, this could be somebody that you already know of, somebody on your mind, somebody from your past, or this could be a brand new person that you are coming into union with, and we're just kind of talking about like what's next in your love life or your next relationship. But I will say I feel like the readings have been pretty specific so far. So if you are going into it with a very specific person, or like, you know, you have something specific on your mind, and if the reading, especially the energy check, if it doesn't sound like you, then definitely check out a different group. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with the current energies of the connection. And then we'll go ahead and see what are the circumstances slash series of events that will lead to your union, both on your side and on your person's side. We will see what will union be like for both of you, and we'll also get advice for journey to union. And then we do have this extended reading, which I will go over this at the end, but the extended will be up on Patreon. So if you're already on there, then you will have immediate access to this extended, but it's also available for a one-time purchase. So, you know, if you're interested in the extended, you can purchase it as a subscription to Patreon, or you can just purchase it as a one-time reading. But I will go over that at the end because I feel like, you know, it'll make more sense and it'll be a smoother transition. Okay, I will say I love this card. It is just the sweetest, cutest, sweetest card ever, and just the way they're embracing each other, the way they're looking at each other, and their eyes are closed, so it feels very safe, feels really loving. And white roses could be significant for some of you. And I was also thinking of, like, these people kind of look alike, so it's possible, you know, this person that you're going to come into union with is somebody that looks like you, or you kind of look similar or have similar, you know, aesthetics or similar hair. Maybe you're from similar cultures. It could be anything like that. But I love that card. It's such a sweet energy. So let's keep it here. So I want to start off with the energy check. So we're going to be looking at group 2's energy on this side, and this is your person's energy on this side. This is whoever you're coming into union with. And then this is more of like the energy of the connection, or like maybe a mutual energy, just something that kind of ties the two of you together is this middle card here. So once we go over the energy check, if you feel like this doesn't sound like you, then please check out a different group. I just, you know, my intentions is that everyone can watch this no matter what your life circumstances are, but also don't force a reading to fit if it doesn't fit for you. You know what I mean? So let's start off with group 2's energy. And this is just your energy in life. You know, this is nothing specific. I just channeled and I was like, you know what? Like, just their energy overall, like what's going on with group 2 and what's going on with this person. So let's see. We have the Queen of Cups with the keywords compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. We have Cancer energy here. This is also water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It's interesting we have Gemini. I didn't realize that the Queen of Cups is also Gemini energy. Ooh, 10 of Swords. Okay. 6 of Stars with success. Okay, interesting. I feel like group 2, you are the type of person that has picked yourself back up no matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how many times you've gotten hurt, no matter how many times life has thrown a curveball or pain, suffering, sadness, no matter how many times life has thrown something at you like that, I think you've always picked yourself back up. With the 10 of Swords here, you definitely could have had some kind of a rough situation in life, maybe a rough childhood, a rough upbringing, or maybe something more recent in your life was really tough for you, because the 10 of Swords, I mean, this is a pretty painful energy, and so it does show me that there could have been something pretty major or pretty traumatic that has happened in your life at some point in time. This could also talk about mental health. You know, your mental health hasn't always been the best, or it's something you're working on right now. But I will say you have a lot of compassion towards yourself, and it's like, no matter, like, immediately I just feel like you're such a strong person, because no matter what life throws your way, you're always able to conquer it, and you're able to like capitalize on it and move on from it. I feel like you've always picked yourself back up no matter what has happened. And this could also be, you know, spirit showing me that you have picked yourself out of a rough situation in life, you know. So if this is not your current energy of something like this going on, it could be that this was something in the past that you had to work through, and now you are living a completely different life. Because if you look at this, I mean, these are like two very different energies. You know, this 10 of Swords, it's like black and white, it's tough, it's painful. This person feels very defeated. But then on this one, she's beautiful, she's stunning, she's an angel, she has this gorgeous gown on. I mean, it's such a, and the colors are so bright and vibrant. It's such a like a night and day energy that we see here. So it really feels like you have completely turned your life around in some way. For some of you, it could be even like substance abuse, or at some point in life, you were just living kind of a toxic life, not taking care of yourself, you know, indulging in things you shouldn't be indulging in. But now it's like you've really turned your life around. It almost feels like you're unrecognizable for some reason. For some of you, maybe your friends and family or people from your past, they like don't recognize you right away because you're so different. You've changed so much. You've grown so much. And I love that the Queen of Cups is here, because what's interesting is when I was shuffling this little pink deck here to get a card for you, like a bunch of cards fell out on the table, as it does for me. A bunch of cards fell out, and the Queen of Cups was one of the cards that was sticking up. I can't remember what the other ones were, but I specifically remember seeing the Queen of Cups. But then I put everything back together. I want to shuffle because I just want one card. And then it's interesting that the one card that came out was the Queen of Cups. So she came out twice for you. And I think that Spirit really trying to hone in on the fact that you have really changed your life. You know, you have really learned to love yourself and take care of yourself. I feel like you are prioritizing yourself right now. You have put yourself first, you know, and it feels like for the first time in a long time, or first time in forever, that you have put yourself first and you're really taking care of yourself from the inside out. I also think like you have better boundaries now, and you are not going to let certain things come into your life again, or you're not going to let yourself indulge in certain things that you used to. But it just feels like somebody who is a bit more strict with themselves, strict with energies around them, and somebody who is just really taking care of themselves and prioritizing themselves right now. For some of you, you could have been in like a very bad relationship, because I'm also sensing this as like a toxic relationship that you were in at one point in time, and it was kind of a struggle, you know, or it was tough to get out of it, or you were in it for a very long time and you were almost like blindsided to the truth. But then you were able to get out of it, and now you're glowing, and now you have higher standards, you know. So whether this was a relationship, whether this was substances, whether this was just traumatic past events, it just feels like you were in some kind of a rough situation and you really pulled yourself out of it, and you kind of did like a full 360 on your life, and now you are a brand new person, and I love it. And I also feel like you're very mentally stable right now because you've healed a lot and you've grown a lot, probably went through some kind of a spiritual awakening. So it does feel like there's a lot of balance within yourself. And you should be proud of yourself. If this really resonates with you, group 2, I think you should be very proud of yourself because you pulled yourself out of that hole. You know, instead of digging yourself deeper into something, you stood up, and it takes strength to pull yourself out of something like that. It takes strength to stand up for yourself and to demand change, you know, and I feel like you did that. So that's amazing. I love that energy for you. So I hope that sounds like you, group 2. If that really doesn't sound like you at all, then yeah, maybe check out a different group. Let's go ahead and see whoever this person is, whether you know them, whether you don't know them, whether this is whoever this is that you are going to be in union with. Like this is, my intention is this is the very next union coming into your life. So let's go ahead and see, you know, what is their energy right now. We have the Star in the reverse. I'm going to keep it in the reverse. We have lack of faith, despair, discouragement, insecurity, self-trust. It's weird. There's a weird little like colon thing there. And then it says disconnection. So this is Aquarius energy with the Star in the reverse. Perspective. This is the Hanged Man. Knight of Trees. Okay, that is the Knight of Pentacles. It's interesting, they have two pretty major arcanas coming through with the Hanged Man of Perspective and the Star in the reverse. This could have definitely also been somebody that's been through a lot in life. You know, this, even for this person, it's not an easy energy, because especially with the Star in the reverse, I mean, that is really, this person has totally lost hope and I feel like they are evolving from this, but at some point in their life, maybe still in their current energy, I think they've really lost hope because life has just constantly defeated them. I think over and over again. It's interesting because for your energy, you were able to get out of whatever this defeat was, and you were able to like conquer it and really capitalize on it. But I feel like this person maybe is kind of in the process of doing that, but with the Star in the reverse, it feels like they have been defeated over and over again to the point of them giving up. I think up until recently, this person has truly given up on life, and I'm just hearing them say, like, what's the point? Like, if it doesn't work out for me over and over again and I'm constantly trying my best, like, what is the point? But I almost feel like they were missing the point. Like, it feels like they were, stay straight. It feels like they were, yeah, it's interesting the perspective is here, because it feels like they were just not seeing things from the right perspective. They were being very cynical about life or about love. They were being very cynical about, you know, their past or their present, moving into their future, being very cynical about relationships. This could also be somebody that had a pretty tough relationship. You know, maybe they went through something pretty bad and now they've kind of lost hope when it comes to love and or relationships, but they're definitely working through something really heavy for the Star to be out in the reverse here. But I love the perspective is here, because I do feel like the gears are turning. You know, this person is realizing that they need a perspective shift. They need to kind of look within. It's interesting because they could have been somebody that kind of just blamed other things or other people, or blamed like the cards they were dealt, the life they were dealt. Like, they almost blamed things instead of looking at themselves, looking at what they can actually change, looking at what they can actually work on, you know, instead of complaining or being upset about just how things have been, and like they couldn't control a lot of the other situations. You know, it almost feels like they've had a bit of a perspective shift now, and I almost feel like now their energy is where the Star is upright, because now they're hopeful again. Because with the Knight of Trees here, the Knight of Pentacles, I see that this person has had a long, hard look at themselves, and I feel like they have actively tried to better themselves, which is really good. Whatever hopelessness, whatever despair this person was in, I do think that they are pulling themselves out of it, because they realize that, like, they can change their life. They can change the course of what is happening. They don't have to stick around for the same thing that they've always been doing, or they don't have to stick around with things just because it's from their past, or they don't have to attach their past to their present or their future. It's like they're learning a lot of these really deep internal things. And yeah, so it's really nice. I do feel like the energy is shifting within them, in their current energy. So we'll have to see, like, when you guys meet. So it's possible you guys are meeting. Oh, that's interesting. I almost feel like you will give them hope, because maybe when you meet this person, they're still a little bit cynical about life and about healing and about making progress and bettering themselves and moving forward. It almost feels like that healing that is required for them to get out of that hopelessness and that perspective shift. For some of you, you might actually like give that to them. You, like, they see you, somebody who has really pulled yourself out of a lot and is doing so much better now. They're like, wait, maybe this person is onto something. Maybe group 2 does have some tips and advice they can give me. Maybe I can actually listen to them because they did it, so maybe I can do it too. It feels like you might really give them hope about bettering their life and really pulling themselves out of something. And this perspective shift, it's possible that, you know, you kind of help them have that perspective shift as well, help them kind of look deeper within themselves. So for some of you, you could be meeting each other after they go through this. We'll have to see your timelines. But for others of you, they could still be kind of battling this internal thing that they are going through here, and you meet them during this, but you give them hope and you almost help them and guide them through it, because you kind of know what it's like to be in that hole, and you are wanting to bring them out of it and help them come out of it. But I love that here, you know, their crown chakra seems to be illuminated, their heart chakra seems to be illuminated. So there is a lot of healing going on in their current energy. But I think maybe you help them just a little bit, or you kind of add on a new layer of something they could work on. But yeah, it's interesting. Now, for some of you, it's possible that you already have some connection with this person, because especially when there's trauma on both sides, sometimes it does feel like, okay, maybe you guys you know, went through this trauma together, and now you are separated and you're both kind of healing your own things on your own. So for some of you, this could definitely be somebody that you have dealt with in the past, or somebody that you did go through something pretty intense with, which kind of caused you guys to go apart so you can both do your own healing. Let's look at what is kind of the energy connecting the two of you. It's the Hanged Man. This is the same thing as this. So yeah, for some of you, it's very possible, I will say for this group, it's very possible that you already know this person. And it's interesting because that star was in the reverse, right? So now I'll give you a scenario for some of you, is that maybe you realize that you cannot fix this person. You know, if this is somebody that you have already been with and you kind of have this shared trauma, or you have this connection where you realize that like you cannot fix them and you cannot heal them, that you have to work on yourself and they have to figure out their own thing. Because especially with the star in the reverse, I could see it as like, you know, you're trying to help somebody a lot. You're trying to do things for them. You're trying to heal them. You're trying to help them have this perspective shift, but they're not helping themselves. And there's only so much you can do, you know? And I do see that with the star in the reverse sometimes. So it feels like for some of you, they didn't have this perspective shift until you walked away from them. And until there is this separation going on between the two of you, because I think for group 2, for some of you, like you realize, like, I cannot fix this person. Like, I've done as much as I could to try to help them, but like I'm losing myself in the process. And that kind of caused you to walk away in your own, do your own thing. And I think that did trigger them to be like, oh, maybe I do need to take a deeper look at myself if like I'm pushing group 2 away. So I do think to some extent, whether you know them or you don't, you do have some influence on their healing and on their introspective awakening that they are going through. But yeah, with the Hanged Man being this like kind of like an underlining mutual energy between the two of you, for those of you who know this person, it definitely feels like you're in a no contact situation. It definitely feels like there is distance and there is a separation between the two of you, and you're both doing your own individual healings and you're kind of doing your own thing right now. If you don't know this person, then I think both of you are kind of just at a standstill right now. With the Hanged Man, there's no movement. It's a period of rest. So if you don't know who this person is and they don't know who you are, then you're both kind of just doing your own thing, and your energies are not really overlapping right now, or even like coming in any way. Like, you're not coming over here, they're not going over here, you know? So it feels like there is this separation if you don't know them as well, because you're both kind of learning and healing and doing your own things right now. So that's what I'm seeing here, you guys. So I also feel like whether you know this person, whether you don't know this person, it does feel like you are very selective with who you are wanting to be in a relationship with, or just who you're letting enter into your life. Especially like when you pick yourself up from the ashes and you've really worked hard to get to this new way of living and this new you, then it's like you're not just gonna have some random crazy person come in and ruin that. You know, like, you work so hard for this life, you're not gonna let just anybody come in. And I feel like that is your energy, whether you know them or you don't. You're being very selective with your life, your love, your energy. You're being very selective with everything. And of course, if you know, obviously, if you, because I can leave this right here for some of you, you know, because if there is somebody that you had a very traumatic situation with and you do not want to get back together with him, trust me, I get it, then you can just leave it here and just know that there is that continuing separation between the two of you, and that you don't have to do anything. You know, like, you could just take this confirmation that like, okay, there is that separation between the two of you, and you can go watch a different reading. Because trust me, I know I don't want people from my past coming around. So I know, you know, unless you are like okay with, if this is somebody from your past and you want them to come back around after they have healed, then stick around. But if you really are like, you're not open to anybody from the past, then I think take this as a confirmation that like you're doing really good, group 2, and then, you know, check out a different group to see who else could potentially be coming in. Okay, so if you do want to stick around, I have another deck I'm going to grab really quick. So this is for Group 2's energy. And then for your person here, we're going to use a different deck. And fun fact, this is actually my first tarot deck. So she started everything back in 2021. I got this deck in January or February of 2021. That's when I got into tarot. But technically, this is like my second deck because I got my first deck ever when I was 16, but I have lost that deck. And then, because in 2021, how old was I? I just turned 23. So I just turned 23 at the end of 2020. So yeah, I was 23 when I picked this up, but I technically got my first deck and I was kind of called to tarot when I was 16, but there was that whole gap from 16 to 23 where I was crazy and I never picked it up again, and I was not listening to my intuition at all. But then my life changed at 23, and then we found her, and then here I am. What, 4 years later? Okay, so for your energy group 2, we're gonna get a timeline for both of you guys, and I'm gonna see like the steps it's gonna take for you to get to union with this person, and we'll see the same thing on their end. And keep in mind, the steps to union it's kind of like a spectrum, right? So for I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh my god, why did I just zone out heavily? Okay, so there is like a spectrum. So for some of you, you could be like at the start of the spectrum, meaning union would be a little bit farther away. For others of you, you could be closer to this end, closer to the middle, so union is like right around the corner. So since this is a general reading, you can be anywhere on that timeline. You know, you don't have to be in one place or the other, you can be anywhere. So let me pull cards here for Group 2's timeline to union. So we'll look at circumstances or series of events that will lead to union for Group 2 with this person. So I'll pull 3 cards and then we'll pull a card for union. So the stages that are going to lead to union with this person for Group 2. What is the first card? First stage. Whoop. What is the first stage to union for group number 2? Ah! This is what I mean. I will take Justice because I did see that first, but okay. So we have Justice. What is the second stage towards union for Group 2? Eight of Swords. What is the third stage, which would be right before union? Seven of Wands. Okay, and then what is union for Group 2? What will union look like with this person for Group 2? What will union look like for this person, or for Group 2 with this person? What will union look like for Group 2? Okay, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and then we have oh, that is so sweet. Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Swords together. So I will keep them together. I feel like this is meant to be in the reverse. That makes more sense. Okay, so now let's look at union, the journey to union on their end. On your person's end. Journey to union on your person's end. Okay, so what is the first step towards union for their person here for Group 2? What is their person's journey? Seven of Pentacles and the Magician together. Okay, their journey to union. Journey to union. Whoa! King and Queen of Wands in the reverse at the same, or not at the same time, but one right after the other. Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep these together. Journey to union for this person on their union to towards group 2. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Just to make some more space here. And now what will union look like for this person with group 2? What will union look like for them with group 2? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Okay, wow. They have a lot of intense energy on their end, so I actually want to start with this person. And keep in mind, you know, they could be anywhere on this journey, right? So for some of you, they could be down here, which means maybe they're kind of just getting started. For others of you, they could be closer to this side. Maybe let me cover it up like that just so I don't get flagged. I want to see her face. Okay, there we go. Okay, so on their end, they are definitely going through like a transformation, group 2, which again makes me feel like for some of you, you definitely like know this person. For some of you, you have already dealt with them, and I do think that you almost just like threw your hands up. You're like, you know what? This is not the right time for us to be together. Like, I sense for some of you, you gave them a lot of time and effort, and you gave them the benefit of the doubt to change, and they were not changing. And I think you realize that, like, okay, you know, like, I can only do so much. I can't force somebody to act a certain way, and I feel like that is what caused you to walk away eventually. So it does feel like they are going through a huge transformation, and we already see that in their current energy. Like, things are shifting, they are realizing what needs to change, what needs to heal, and they're having that introspective moment. So here, you know, at the start of their journey, I love that we have the Magician, because I feel like going from this hopelessness and this despair, they're really taking the situation back. And I think that perspective shift, like we said, is really helping, because they're realizing, wait a second, like, I have the power to better my life and to better my situation. You know, I can change. I have to, you know, like, I can make the change happen. And I think that's exactly what they do at the start of this journey to union, at the start of their healing. They are realizing, like, I can put in the time and the effort, and I can cause the change that I need to see in my life to better myself. So I think it does start with more like practical changes within them. And we saw the King or the Knight of Pentacles here too. So it does feel like they're changing like little things around them, or they're changing their habits. They're changing like the realistic, practical things that they can change. So yeah, habits, hobbies, substances, pleasures, like, they're changing like the immediate things that they can change. And I do think this person is like meditating more, or is kind of just like calming their mind a little bit more in order for them to kind of like, you know, heal from the inside out. But it does feel like they're actively making changes in their life to better themselves. And I think that is going to lead to the second energy of their stage, of the stages here, with the King of Wands in the reverse and the Queen of Wands in the reverse. How interesting is that, you guys? So this second stage, like, once they're kind of getting the wheels turning here, with the King of Wands in the reverse, I saw this as this person is having an ego death. You know, this is going to cause them to have an ego death, and they're realizing that they can't hide behind their ego. They can't hide behind toxic masculinity. And I think that's when they kind of start to shed their old skin, is when they realize that, like, they can't continue within this toxic masculinity that they have been operating in. They can't do that anymore. So this really feels like the shedding of their skin when it comes to that. And like them having that ego death and kind of viewing things in a more spiritual way, or viewing things in a more realistic way or in a more emotional way. Basically, they're kind of detaching from their ego and from any of those toxic traits that they had. So maybe like anger, a short temper, again, that ego, you know, they're detaching from these traits slowly but surely. And I feel like this is more of the purging kind of an energy. I think this is going to be a bit more tough for them. But it's great that they're even here, because they had to kind of go through a lot of this to get here in the first place. And with the Queen of Wands in the reverse, I really see this as they're detaching from temporary satisfactions when it comes to like sex, or like, you know, immediate satisfactions when it comes to just like hooking up with random people, and physical pleasures. Like, that's how I always view the Queen of Wands in the reverse. So especially with both of these in the reverse, this next stage of their union with you is they're having an ego death, detaching from their own toxicities, but also walking away from toxicities from other people. So yeah, sex is the first thing that comes to mind, and immediate satisfaction, and just meaningless relationships. You know, if they were to go somewhere just to like have somebody fill a void temporarily, you know, they're walking away from that. They're realizing that like they can't do that anymore, and that it is a temporary void, and or I mean, it's filling it's a temporary fill is what they're realizing. And I think like they would, especially with this, they would probably stop drinking. If this person drinks or takes part of substances, I think like that is what's helping them have a clear head. So yeah, they're really kind of walking away from their toxicities. And then I love that we have Judgment here. I mean, this is completely surrendering to the divine. So it's like we see them start this journey of really losing and shedding this old version of themselves and stepping into this new version where they have surrendered to the universe. They believe in the universe. They believe not only in their physical and their ego, but they believe in like destiny. They believe in their purpose. They believe that like there is a higher power going on, and I feel like they have really detached from like materialistic and like human ways and human indulgences. Like they're really detaching from that, which I love, because this is showing them at like their heightened spiritual awakening. And this is almost showing some kind of like a completion of their first spiritual awakening. So it does feel like they would go through this massive awakening before they got to union with you. And I love that it's the World. I mean, union for this person, when they're in union with you, everything's gonna make sense. Whether you know this person, whether you don't know this person, they feel like everything up until now happened the way it did for a reason, so you guys could have this specific union. They're going to be very happy. They're going to be very excited to be with you, and they're going to be so proud to like show you how much they've changed or how much they've healed or where they have come from. Whether you know them or you don't, they're going to be so proud to like share that with you. And this being the last card of the major arcana, it proves to them that like they have ended that toxic way of living or that toxic cycle in their life, and now they're starting a new chapter in their life as a new person with you in this union. So this is almost like a confirmation to them, like, yes, like I did it, I got here, and I have healed and I've evolved, and I'm not that old version of myself anymore. So that's amazing. And I think this person really admires you, and union with you is just so like, yeah, they just really put you on a pedestal because they can relate to you, and I think you can relate to them on like pulling yourself out of tough situations and the life you're living, you know, and how you got together, and they can really relate to you. They definitely like admire you a lot. They have eyes only for you, and I think you really inspire them to be the better version of themselves. So union for them with you is very, very nice. On your end here, we have a similar energy, but it's not as intense, because I do feel like your more intense energy has already kind of happened before getting into this union or this union journey. Your first stage is justice. So I think you're already stepping into this journey as you know what you want. You've already balanced out your life. So for them, it feels like they're doing their entire spiritual awakening on this journey to you, which is why you are like the reward. But for you, it feels like you've done a lot of the spiritual awakening before you came into this union journey. So you're kind of just like cruising as your authentic self by the time you get to them. But yeah, with Justice, your life is already finding balance, and you are already finding balance within yourself, and you've already detached from things, and you've already gone through a lot of these things before coming in here. So you're coming in pretty balanced and pretty sure of who you are and pretty sure of what you want in life moving forward. For this, the Eight of Swords in the reverse, you've completely detached from any limitations that were placed on you. You've completely detached from any limiting beliefs, restrictions, limitations, anything like that that was holding you back. And this is also like, could be substances or anything that was holding you back. You're already detaching from that coming into this. So you're like a free spirit coming into this. And then I love that the Seven of Wands is here because you're really defending your ground. And I also feel like you're not placing restrictions on what Spirit is doing in your life. You're allowing Spirit to kind of just take you, and you're very go with the flow. By the time you are aligned to this union here, you're very go with the flow. You have removed all restrictions, but you are standing your ground. You are defending yourself, this new life. You are very selective with who you're letting in. You have boundaries. You have high standards. So that's very nice. But yeah, for you, it feels like the chunk of your healing was already done before this. So this almost feels like it's just going to fall into your lap for you. But for them, it feels like, oh, I worked very hard for this union. And I love this because with the Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Swords, you're just at peace with this union. You know, it's so peaceful, and you just know like this is your person. And because they are this new version of themselves, they don't bring that restlessness into your life. They don't bring chaos into your life. This new version of this person is very calming and relaxing, and you're just at peace, and you're just so comfortable. And the Nine of Pentacles also talks about somebody who is comfortable, and it's just, there's no pressure. You know, there's not going to be pressures with this person. You're just really just coming together very smoothly in a very harmonious manner. And with the Nine of Pentacles, I do see that you already have like your life established as you are coming into union, and you're just going to continue doing that. You know, you're going to continue on with your career or your hobbies or your lifestyle. It feels like you're not changing anything about yourself in order to accommodate this person. But that's what makes it so peaceful, because they're not changing you and you're not changing them, but you both can live very harmoniously in this meeting ground of this union here. So it's very nice. I really love this energy. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here. So now I have this Hidden Truth Oracle, which was really popular the last time I used it. So it is back. If you have somebody on your mind, again, it doesn't have to be this person. It could be anybody, somebody from your past, anybody that you want to channel and you want to hear something from them. Just go ahead and think about them, and I will get you some cards here, but it does not have to be this person. Just anybody that group 2 wants a message from. It says, I regret lying to you. I hope that you can forgive me one day. And it fell on the ground. I left when I saw you with somebody, okay. I hid who I really am from you, and let's get one more. I'm gonna take the one that fell on the ground. It says, I know that I crossed the line with you. Okay, group 2. So this is everything that I'm seeing on your journey to union and how and when you'll meet each other. Like I said, if you feel like you're closer to this end, then union is right around the corner. If you feel like you're closer to this, well, actually, this just feels like it would already flow very smoothly, so I don't even think it really matters where you are. But so now in the extended, 41 minutes later, in the extended, we're going to be looking at what could potentially speed up the journey to union, but also what could slow it down. That way you kind of know what maybe you should do, maybe what you shouldn't do. We'll also see how aligned are both of you to this union, like where are you and where are them? That way you can also know like how far away are they. And we'll also see when is union likely to happen. So I will give you like a slower time frame and a faster time frame, and you can claim anything within that time frame. But if this is where I'm leaving you off, that is totally okay. Thank you so much for letting me give you this reading. If you want a private reading, go ahead and email me. My email is in the description below. But yes, I'm so happy to be here, and this is what I'm seeing for you. And if you're joining me in the extended, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see you over there. The link to the reading is going to be in the description below. And the viewers on Patreon get to suggest the monthly reading, so there's personalized content over there along with this extended. So there's a lot of stuff going on over there if you're interested in more content from me. But yeah, have a great rest of your day, you guys. So I will leave you here, or I will see you in the extended. Bye. Hey guys, if you chose this Lover's card with the Cat Tarot and this little crystal that I don't remember the name of, this is your group. Hello, group number 3. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will set this crystal right there. So let's quickly go over our breakdown for our reading today. This is all about how and when you'll come into union with your next person, or for those of you, if you have somebody on your mind, this could be about how you will come into union with them. But if you don't have somebody on your mind, this could just be how you will come into union with, whoever you want it to be. So like your next relationship, or your soulmate, or your future spouse. It can truly be anybody. So first we're going to start off with the current energies of this connection. And we're going to go ahead and look at your energy on this side and then your person's energy on this side. And if the energies don't sound like you or this person, then definitely check out a different group. So then after that, we will look at the circumstances / series of events that will lead to your union, both on your end and on your person's end. And then we will also see what will union be like for the two of you, and any advice for the journey to union, anything that might come up, I will mention that to you. And then we do have an extended, which I will go over this at the end of the reading, but I do want to mention that the extended will be on Patreon. So if you already are on Patreon, then you'll have immediate access to it. Or you can, if you would like to purchase it, you can purchase it as a one-time purchase, or you can subscribe to Patreon. So either way, you can have access to it if that is something you would like. The link is in the description below. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. This is just the cutest card I've ever seen in my entire life. As a cat mom, I can't. Like, this just takes me, it transports me somewhere else, and I almost have to like stop looking at it because it's so cute. Okay, yeah, let me move that to the side. Well, we'll keep it there so we can still kind of see it. So we're going to start off with your energy on this side. And this is just like your energy, just whatever's happening in your life. It's nothing specific, and it's definitely not specific to your love life. Maybe Spirit wants to talk about your love life, but this is just your overall energy in life, and this is their overall energy. And then this is anything that's either like connecting the two of you or the energy of the connection itself. So anything that's like, would be like mutual or between the two of you. So we'll start off with your energy, group 3. We have 8 of Cups with the keywords disappointment, abandon, withdrawal, escapism, walking away, and leaving behind. Ooh, transformation. I love it. This is the number 13. So this is the Death card. And this is also Scorpio energy. And then this is Pisces energy. So we already have a lot of water going on. We have the 8 of Stars with Surge. So this is the 8 of Wands. Oh, I love it. Group 3. I feel like as this card says, I feel like you've gone through some kind of a major transformation in your life recently. And I feel like things are picking up after this period of like a downtime. So with the Eight of Stars, you know, this is a very fast-paced energy. This is the Eight of Wands. This is Sagittarius energy. It's expansive. It's evolving at a very rapid pace. This is also Mercury energy. So, you know, communications could be picking up around this time in your current energy. But overall, it really just feels like after kind of a slow period in your life of things kind of falling into place and you're healing and you're working on yourself and you're doing all these internal transformations, now it feels like your external reality is also picking up with it. So especially if you were in a period of rest and you kind of were more of a hermit for a while and you weren't really doing much and you were kind of just like keeping to yourself as you were healing, I feel like now you're finally coming out into the world again, or you're finally coming out of that comfort zone or that bubble, and you're finally like, you know, taking the next steps, or things are just picking up for you, you know. 444 on the time. I love the Eight of Cups. Honestly, it's such a great card, and you have two eights here, so 8 could be a significant number for some of you. But with the Eight of Cups and this transformation, yeah, it just feels like, you know, it just feels like overall the life you were living just wasn't really doing it for you anymore, or just wasn't meant for you anymore. And I think you decided to pick up and walk away from it and kind of start over, but heal as you went along with that journey. And that's really what I'm seeing on your end. But this is very nice because it feels like you did make it to the light at the end of the tunnel. You did come out of, or you are either actively coming out of this transformative period and things are finally picking up again, or you're already out of it and now you're more in this fast-paced, forward-moving energy again. So for some of you, I'm sensing you're not in the transformation, but you recently were, and now like things are just moving fast and moving well for you and moving, you know, in a positive direction. So I do think that if you did recently walk away from something and you are going through some kind of a transformation, I think Spirit is giving you that confirmation that that was the right thing to do and you are on the right path. For some of you, this could have been totally just uprooting your life. It could have been moving away, you know, changing environments. For some of you, it could have just been an internal transformation, maybe even an external transformation for some of you. Like with this being an external transformation, I'm even thinking of like a weight loss journey, or like taking care of your body, or somehow transforming something on the outside. And now you're finally like, you did it and now you're moving from that, or you are in some kind of an external transformation. I think no matter what, I think at the end of the day, there was something that you just weren't happy with, whether it was physical, around you, internal, or yeah, you just weren't happy with something, and I feel like you decided to change it or do something about it, and now you're in a much better energy with the Eight of Wands. So let's see what is this person's current energy. So like I said, this could literally be anybody. I didn't channel anyone specific, so this is just whoever you are coming into union with, and this is their current energy in life. Whoa, Tower. Oh, that's crazy. So, you're almost like, maybe you guys were going through something similar, are going through something similar. Tower, sudden changes, upheaval, chaos, revolution, awakening, release, sudden insight. Okay. We have the Eight of Crystals. So this is the Eight of Pentacles. We have the 10 of Trees with loyalty. So this is the 10 of Pentacles, and we have the 8 of Pentacles. So also 8s are coming up a lot. This is also Scorpio energy here with the Tower, but it's also Mars energy, so Aries could also be significant there. So Pentacles, so this is actually Taurus energy. No, it's not Taurus. What is it? Virgo. This is Virgo energy down here. Now this Tower, I think what's interesting is this is very positive. So the Tower, I think at first looked a little scary, but It doesn't feel like it. It honestly just feels like there could have been some kind of a change in this person's life, or some kind of a sudden shift in their life, but it feels like they're still doing pretty good. I don't think they were going, I don't think it's like a transformative tower. I don't think it's like a huge spiritual awakening kind of a thing, you know? Maybe like their job got relocated, or they just kind of heard some sudden news about something, or something changed out of nowhere and they weren't expecting it. But with the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, I feel like this person is very like career oriented, or they're very serious about their stability and their foundation. I feel like this person has probably worked very hard for their stability and has really like built everything that they have. I think this person is very loyal to themselves, and they're very loyal to the vision. But yeah, I think something could have just changed. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as like their whole life is falling apart, but yeah, like maybe they're getting transferred to a new city. Maybe something happened in their personal life and they kind of have to like deal with it, but it doesn't feel like a crazy transformative energy on their end. With the Ten of Pentacles, this person well, I think this person is very successful with the Eight and the Ten of Pentacles. So they could be some kind of like a business owner, CEO. They could be, for some reason, I'm even thinking about an athlete. So somebody that has some kind of status and they have a lot of money is also coming through like that. But yeah, I don't think this is anything bad. I think just, you know, just something came up in their life. I don't know what it is. It's not giving me specifics, but yeah, I think this person has some kind of a status. They probably have a very strong foundation that they have built for themselves. They're very loyal to that foundation, or they're very loyal to their career, and they really put themselves first. I mean, this is somebody who puts themselves first and puts their career or their stability first, and then I think other things kind of fall into place. But with this heart coming out of this Ten of Pentacles tree here with the word loyalty, I definitely think even though this person could have fame or status or money, I do think they are actively looking for love. I think they're actively looking for a companion. It also gives me the message of like, money can't really buy you love. Money can't really buy you happiness. Like, you could have all the money in the world, all the success in the world, but like when you are seeking that emotional connection with somebody, like you can't just buy that. So I think this person, maybe that's what they're realizing in life, is like that money and status can't really give them the true happiness or the true love that they are longing for. And I also think this person could be getting older, or they have already had their success for a while, to where they're almost just like, yeah, like I'm just looking for something real or something serious. Like, I almost feel like the fun of money and fame and the fun of all of this is kind of wearing off. And now it's like they're looking for something more serious and something more real and something more emotional. And especially if this person has money and fame or whatever, it could be tough for them to find a genuine connection with somebody, because maybe people use them for their status or for what they have or for whoever they are. You know, I think maybe people could use them, and they don't want that. You know, they want like a genuine connection with somebody, and I think their heart is like really longing to just like slow down in life, to just take it easy. And I think maybe that is what's coming up to the surface. Like, they want to be like this with somebody, you know? And maybe that's what this sudden change is they're realizing that they just want more when it comes to emotional fulfillment. I'm not 100% sure what this change or realization is, but they did realize something recently. But I do think overall this person's doing really well. And I think they're very proud of themselves. They're very proud of what they have built. It does feel like they worked hard for it. So whatever they're doing, they worked hard for that, or they worked their way up to that. Yeah, and on your end, it just feels like you're looking for more in life. You know, this doesn't, again, because I'm thinking how this tower doesn't have to be a huge intense energy, and same thing with this transformation and this walking away. It really doesn't have to be this huge energy. It could just be that you woke up and realized that you're not where you want to be, you're not living where you want to live, you want to be more authentic to who you really are, and that is helping you transform yourself but also your immediate reality. Okay, so let's see, what is this energy between the two of you? Oh, Five of Cups. There is sadness. I'm so confused. Let me clarify this. Because I don't know. I think for this group, I can't tell if you know this person or you don't. I think for some of you, maybe you do know this person and you are missing them and they're also missing you. Maybe you're missing each other. For others of you, if you don't know who this person is, then there is like this mutual sadness between each other. But you see the two cups here. It's making me think of the Two of Cups in tarot, and that is a card about a soulmate and about a lifelong partner. And maybe if you don't know each other, maybe there is this sadness between the two of you because you haven't met yet and you're like missing each other, you're longing for each other. Clearly they're longing for love, and maybe that's what you are looking for too, and you guys haven't found each other yet, so there is some sadness that's coming along with it. But if you do know who this person is and you have history, then it could definitely be that you guys are missing each other to some extent. Let me clarify this Five of Cups for group 3. The Three of Wands. It definitely feels like you're looking for this person, or both of you are like mutually looking for each other. And I guess I could interpret that if you do know who this person is, then you're kind of like missing them. Maybe you look for them in the crowd, or you're curious on where they are, what they're doing, like you miss them, if you do know who this is. Now, if you don't know who this is, there's this energy of like, I'm really longing for my soulmate. I'm longing for you. I'm longing for this love with you. And that is the mutual energy for both of you. I think both of you want to be like this. Both of you want each other. You want to embrace each other. You want to meet each other. I think both of you are ready for a serious relationship, or you're ready for this kind of love to finally like enter your life. And I think you're just like sad because you haven't met them yet. It's like two souls that are sad because they're longing for their soulmate, but they haven't come into union yet. And with the Three of Crystals, it feels like both of you are just like living your own individual lives, but no matter what it is you're doing, you're always like energetically thinking about each other. Maybe your souls are kind of connected and your souls think about each other, and maybe they even communicate with each other, but it feels like you're both living your individual lives. But you think about like, oh, I wonder where they are, like, oh, like I wish I could tell them this, or share this news with them. Or it's like you're living your own lives, but you're really longing for your other half wherever they are, no matter if you know them or you don't know them. That's like how that's coming through. And especially with the Three of Wands talking about like your next milestone, you guys could be getting older and you're still wondering like, where are they? Like I'm just getting older. I've hit another birthday. I've hit another milestone, and I just like want to share this with them. I want to be with my person already. Like, where are they? It's interesting because I think the sadness, it's more like an underlining sadness, because I don't think both of you sit there and like dwell on this all day long. I think it comes in random situations and random bursts where you're your most vulnerable, but I don't think it's all the time, because again, with the Eight of Wands here, I feel like you are really like, your life is really picking up, or you're finally living the life you want to live. You're finally living your best life. You're this new transformed version of yourself. Like, it feels so good. Your energy feels so good, or you're evolving into a really good version, a really good life here. And same thing for them. They're freaking CEO, they're freaking, you know, making money, like they're doing all these things, like they're sitting at the top when it comes to their success and their foundation and their wealth. So it feels like both of you are doing really, really good in your life, but it's like in moments where, especially like at nighttime, you know, when you're alone at night and you want like somebody to just like be there for you because you're vulnerable, or you kind of like, when you're alone, you know, you're not as distracted. So it kind of feels like the sadness comes in like waves, but in random times when like you're on your own or you're vulnerable. I don't think either of you are sitting there just like waiting for this person or like dwelling on the fact that they're not here yet, because it feels like both of you are doing really, really good in your own lives. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so I have, wait, let me kind of organize this. So I have this deck here, which I'm going to use for your journey to union. And then I have a second deck that I'm going to use for their journey to union. I'm hearing the song by Rihanna, Where Have You Been All My Life? Okay, hold on one second. Here is the deck I'm going to be using for them. Okay, so now the journey to union, it's going to be a spectrum for both of you. So like you could be anywhere on that spectrum. So if you're kind of on this side, it would just mean that you're like farther away from this union. Or if you're closer to the middle, then union could be right around the corner for you with this person. So let's go ahead and start with group 3's energy. So first, let's look at group 3's journey to union towards this person. So group 3's journey to union towards this person. Group 3's journey to union. This is the 7 of Swords. This is the 3 of Swords. Okay, that's in the reverse. Okay. The journey to union for group 3. We have the 6 of Wands, I think? No, Pentacles. I think this is Pentacles. It's a little tricky because the Cat Tarot doesn't have like any words on it. Just like these symbols. Okay, journey to union for group 3. What is next? Oh, the 3 of Wands. You got that out again. All right, and what will union look like for group 3? This is the 3, oh yeah, this is Wands. Oh, so this is the 6 of Wands and the 3 of Wands. So this is the 3 of Pentacles, because Pentacles is the little kibble. Okay. So now let's look at their journey to union. So for this person, what does their journey to union towards group 3 look like? What does their journey to union look like? What does their journey to union look like? Ooh, Chariot. Right away. What does their journey to union look like? The 9 of Wands in the reverse. What does their journey to union look like? Two of Wands. That's interesting. We keep seeing the two. Well, this is the first time we saw this, but the Three of Wands is out twice. And then what will union be like for this person with group 3? What will this union be like for them? Oh my goodness. The Empress. I want to clarify this Nine of Wands in the reverse. Can we clarify this Nine of Wands in the reverse? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. The Death card. That's your card. That's the transformation card that you got earlier. There's the High Priestess. Okay. So let's see. Move that aside. Let's see what's going on your journey to union. So like I said, this is a spectrum. So for some of you, you could be down here. Others of you could be closer to this. So this is union for the both of you here. And same thing for them. They could be anywhere on this spectrum. So to start off with you, your first step when you are aligning to this union, for your energy, you will have to accept something and be honest with yourself about something. With the Seven of Swords in the reverse and the Three of Swords, I think what you have to accept and be honest about is something that made you sad or makes you sad, you know. So because the Three of Swords does talk about heartbreak, so there could be something, you know, that made you sad or broke your heart that you haven't fully accepted, or you haven't fully, like, you know, worked through it or been honest to yourself about it. And I think that in order to kind of move on from whatever this was and to kind of get aligned to this journey with this person here, you have to be honest with yourself and you have to accept that something happened and it made you sad, but you have to be honest with yourself about it, and that's how you would work through it. You know, like, that's coming through as very, very specific. You know, like, it's okay to not be okay about something, or it's okay that something didn't work out in your favor. It's okay that you got hurt. I think at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself that you're human. And I feel like the Seven of Swords is almost like this barrier where, like, if something really hurt you, you're like trying to cover it up, be like, no, it didn't. I'm fine. You know, I'm not hurt. Like, I don't care. I can move on and it's no big deal. But I think, like, that attitude and that energy towards this is something that is actually blocking you to align to this journey with this person here. So whatever that may be, you know, it feels like that would be the first step in the journey, and you would just have to, like, accept it and almost even embrace it. Like, embrace the fact that you're human. Embrace the fact that something could have even hurt you in the first place. Like, you're, you know, like, you have a heart and you're not stone cold, and that's okay. And I think, I don't know what this is, but there's just something about that. And then for others of you, this Seven of Swords in the reverse could talk about another person, maybe like a manipulative person or somebody that has hurt you, and you have to, like, stand up to them in some way, or you have to, like, walk away from them in some way. So whether this is you being honest with yourself about something, or being honest with somebody else and walking away from them because, you know, you don't want them in your life anymore, I think that would be the first step here in order to accept this. Oh, and you know what else? It's interesting because we were saying, like, there's sadness here because you're longing for each other. I almost feel like this Three of Swords is this same sadness, but you're, like, denying it. You're like, how can you miss somebody that you don't even know? Like, or it's like you're trying to tell yourself that, like, you don't need somebody. Like, don't miss them. You know, like, you don't need a partner right now. You don't need a soulmate. It almost feels like toxic, like a toxic strength that you're trying to give yourself, where you're trying to, like, dismiss the fact that you want somebody, or that you want a partner, or that you miss somebody even if you don't know who they are, or that there is sadness because you haven't met them yet. Like, you know, it almost feels like you're trying to deny it by telling yourself you don't need it, and that you should stop listening to that feeling that you have. And Spirit is saying that you have to be honest with yourself, and that it's okay to miss somebody. It's okay to want somebody. It's okay to want love. You know, like you don't need to do everything alone. But for some reason you could have a mentality of like, oh, my feelings they're not important. Like, it doesn't matter if I miss somebody. It doesn't matter. You know, I'll move on. I'll be fine. There's just something about acknowledging your true feelings and like accepting them and being honest with yourself about some true feelings that you have about something in this world, because it just feels like it is creating some kind of a blockage. Because how can you get aligned, like, if this is about you missing a soulmate or you missing this person, but you are denying it? How can you expect the universe to put you on the path to meet the one person that you are denying that you even want to see in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, the universe is not going to take you and put you on their path if you are telling the universe, I don't even want it anyway. My feelings are not real anyway. Or this is all delusional anyway. You know, like, when you're dismissing it and denying it, the universe is not going to give it to you. They're just going to move you farther and farther away from it. So that's what this feels like. And that almost feels like the first step is to accept that you want your soulmate, to accept that you want this person, or you want a partner, you want love. You know, I think you just have to accept that and tell yourself it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to feel this way. And then after that, I love it because we have the Six of Wands. And I love that we also have the Three of Wands here, because it definitely feels like there is some success finding you, you know, when it comes to your career. And we see the Eight of Wands here. So we've already established that, like, once you're kind of healing from something, or working through something here, or accepting something, things are moving very quickly in your life. And with the Six of Wands, it's like you're finding success in something. So whether it's your business, whether it's your career, whether it's fame, status, your online, I almost said online persona, your online, whatever you do online, like, there's something here that's growing very quickly. And I almost wonder, since we already talked about this person having some kind of a status, I almost wonder if, like, that's how you would maybe, like, get in contact with them. It's like you're doing something where your status is growing, and then somehow you, like, are placed in a situation with other people like that, and maybe that's how you meet them, or you meet them online, since we're talking about all this online stuff. But it does feel like you're finding recognition for something in your life, and you're very happy with it, you know? And then that leads you to the Three of Wands, which is the same thing here, but it's talking about the new milestone. So it feels like whatever it is that you went through that was kind of tough, it propels you into, like, your purpose, your destiny, like what you need to be doing in this chapter of your life. It, like, really puts you out there somehow. And then that leads to, like, unlocking new doors and new milestones, new opportunities, because even this feels like rapid growth somehow. And I feel like you would be rapidly growing, whether it's, like, literally in your career, whether it's online, whether it's whatever. You're rapidly growing somehow in your life, and you're finding a lot of happiness. You're finally at peace because you've accepted something. So it feels like you're mentally stable, you're emotionally stable. Now success is finding you, and things are moving very quickly in your life. Time is just flying by, and you're just like, oh my God, like, all of this is happening very quickly for me. And then you get to union. So I almost wonder if, like, maybe something about this thing that's growing is what connects you to this person, or puts you in the same room, puts you with the same friends, puts you in the same groups or acquaintances, same parties. I don't know, like, there could be something where, like, you are living your life and you kind of show up somewhere, and this person also happens to show up there. But it feels like your union would be coming after your own growth in your own life. And your union is Three of Pentacles, which is just the cutest thing. I want to actually get one more card. Can we clarify the Three of Pentacles here? for what will union be like for group 3? What will union be like for group 3? Oh my gosh, I knew I wanted to get another card. I love it. The fact that both of your unions are coming out as major arcana is very, very cute. Let me kind of make some space here so we can see both of these cutie pies. Okay. I really feel like your union could be tied into your work somehow, you guys, because we have the 3 of Pentacles here, which talks about work, you know. So I know this is how union is going to make you feel, but it's very possible that, like I'm saying, something about your success and your rapid growth, especially if this is tied into your work. Maybe this is even like a hobby on the side, like if you're doing like social media on the side or something and that blows up, you know, like this doesn't have to be your work. It could be, say you're getting a promotion in your job and that kind of takes you into meeting this person because they also work high up and they also are promoted somehow, you know what I mean? So it could definitely be like work is somehow tied into your meeting, into your union. But for this to be how you feel about your union, it's like a dream come true. I mean, with this star here, I think it makes you realize all the false narratives that you have been telling yourself in the past. You know, it almost makes you realize like, wow, like this person, this relationship is literally everything that I dreamed of. I didn't even think this was real. And this person, it could even be so specific to the down or to the point where they are like your exact type. Like literally, if you had like a list of like the exact type of person, physical traits, emotional, mental, career, like everything, if you wrote everything down, it would be like they just walked off that piece of paper. Like it's gonna feel so surreal and you're gonna be like, am I dreaming? Because there's no way that somebody that literally checks every single box exists, but it literally feels like a dream come true when you are in this union with this person. You could also be starstruck to some extent because we have the star here and we were talking about this person having status or something like that. So initially you could maybe be kind of nervous being around them or getting to know them, or even for some of you, I could see you wondering like, why would they want me? If they're famous or if they are well known and they're successful, they could have anybody. Why would they want me? So for some of you, like I said, there's some false narratives. So I think when you're kind of getting into union, at first you might be a little nervous or you might feel like maybe they're out of your league or you're like not good enough for some reason. But I think that will fade away in due time because it really feels like this union feels like a dream come true for you and you're just like, oh my god, am I dreaming? And I think you're going to be very at peace. And it also feels like all the patience was worth it, especially if you kind of waited for a while and you kind of did your own thing and stayed independent and like took care of yourself and like, you know, you did all these things for yourself. And it feels like, okay, like waiting for the right person was worth it. And I love this 3 of Pentacles because it feels so playful. It feels like no matter how serious life is or how serious your careers could be or how serious your whatever, you know, it doesn't matter how serious life gets with this connection, you remain very playful and very, very like fun and down to earth and silly with this person. But it just feels like you feel like a child again. You feel like a kid again with this energy. It just feels like a dream come true kind of a person. And I think this person really brings out the childlike side of you. They bring out the fun in you. They don't want you to be so serious all the time. You know, they kind of bring out like this really fun, playful version of yourself. But yeah, you could definitely be kind of nervous or starstruck when you first meet them or first talk to them or, you know, get to know them. I feel like they're going to feel the exact same way, but let's start back here. So on their journey to union, they are also detaching from something. With that death card there and the 9 of Wands in the reverse, it feels like they are finally like letting go the need to control the narrative, or letting go of expectations that they had placed on themselves, or letting go of like, it just feels like letting go of a false narrative. Like it's coming up for them too, because we see like, well, now we see the Tower and the Death card here. So I think like they're definitely going through some change in their life. And it feels like that change is like a wake-up call that helps them kind of like, it helps like this facade to fall away. It helps the real version of them come out in some way. Like whatever this wake-up call is, it makes them let go of anything that they could have been holding on to, or again, these expectations, this facade, and it really helps them become a more authentic version of themselves. And I also feel like it really opens up their heart space a lot. But to start their journey, they have the Chariot here, which is interesting because the Chariot is very, it's a forward moving energy. It's fast paced. It has somewhere to go. It has things to do. And I think they start this journey of like hustle and bustle. Like, especially because we already see that they work really hard. They worked for what they have. They have status or power, or they're somewhat of a important figure in what they do or just in life. And it feels like they get on this journey with just a straight like hustle mentality. And I think maybe that's what causes them to have this crash. Like it's like, yeah, like it's like that's what helps them have that wake-up call, because they just can't continue to live life just hustling and just trying to get to the next thing and the next award and the next raise, the next milestone, the next this, the next that. They realize that like they're constantly living for the next thing, but they realize that there's a deeper reason for that. There's a deeper reason and a deeper thing that they're trying to cover up. And I think that's the lack of emotional satisfaction that they have in their life. And that's what causes them to kind of crash and have that wake-up call. And that's when they remove all expectations and facade, and it really feels like a complete shedding of this old version of themselves. But yeah, it feels like this very quick, like, next thing, let's go. And then suddenly they crash and burn. And they realize, okay, I have to take a deeper look at myself, because why am I constantly chasing the next high? Why am I constantly chasing the next thing? And they're realizing that they're seeking something emotional that they don't have. And that's why they keep trying to fill it up with more material things or more status, more money, but it's not filling up their cup. So yeah, I do think they go through a huge like 360 perspective shift kind of a situation before they come into your life. But this is what starts the journey for them, because when they get on this journey, even when they're doing this fast-paced stuff up here, that they had to have that wake-up call and have that Tower moment and have that death moment to realize what they want in order to continue this path to you. Because if they didn't get here and they didn't get to this transformation, they wouldn't have got to you when they do. You know what I mean? So it really feels like it's all happening at the right time. And I think for them, they realize, like, when they meet you, they're going to realize, okay, like, that's why I crashed and burned. Like, that's why Spirit, like, knocked me off of my high horse for a second, because you were about to come into my life. I think it'll click for them when they meet you. With the Two of Wands, I think this person will continue to stay ambitious, but they're like toning it down a little bit. I don't know what that means, but it's like they're going to continue to like work. They're going to continue to do what they're doing, but I think they're going to do more like leisurely things, or like things for fun. Maybe they're going to travel more and just like not be so serious. And it's interesting that I said they were going to help you not be so serious, but I think you will also help them not be so serious, because we see the Eight of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Three of Wands, and then the Two of Wands. All this fun, fire, like this spontaneous, this excitement, this adventurous energy. And I think you will help this person realize that they don't have to be serious all the time. They don't have to work all the time. You know, they can have fun. They can, especially when they have the right person by their side. But I do think once they go through this transformative period, they will kind of slow down in general and just do more things for fun, do more things that excite them. And I think they kind of just try to enjoy their life a little bit more instead of trying to fill the voids or running away from something. And then they get to you, and it's literally the Empress. I mean, it cannot get better than this. And same here, it's the Star. You both have major arcanas talking about what union will be like for both of you. And when they meet you, oh my God, I mean, you are also a dream come true. You're literally their Empress. You know what I mean? So it's like they immediately see you as this abundant royalty. They see you as this amazing person. You're so humble, you're so wise, you're so spiritual, you're so independent. You have such a loving and nurturing side to you. And it's like, for them too, it feels like you check all their boxes and they're just like, there's no way somebody like you exists. And we even said that earlier, that maybe, you know, they have a hard time finding people to see the real them and to see past all of the glamour. And I think that's exactly what you do, and it causes them to just really fall like head over heels in love with you. And I think almost immediately as they're getting to know you, they can like see a long-term future with you. They could see commitment with you. They are so inspired by you. And it's funny because you were nervous about them, but they're just like bowing down to you. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibes that I'm sensing here. So I love it. So this is very nice. And that's when they're going to realize that's why this happened to me. So I can be the best version of myself for this person. And then you're also going to realize that's why I had to work through whatever I had to work through so I could be my best version for them. I love it. Amazing. Group number 3, that is what I'm seeing for you. So this was really popular. This Hidden Truth Oracle was really popular last time I used it. So I'm going to use it again. So this doesn't have to be about this person, because, you know, for a lot of you, I don't think you know who this is. I think this is just somebody that you're going to meet, and I don't think you have history with them, but maybe for a few of you, this is somebody that you have history with. But channel whoever you want to hear from. Again, doesn't have to be them. It can be anybody. If there's anyone you want to hear from directly, we're just going to get some channeled messages from whoever group 3 wants to hear from. So let's see what is going on. I am grateful for the spiritual lesson. Okay. I hid who I really am from you. I want to tell you how I feel. Ooh, somebody's definitely hesitant, because that almost didn't come out. It like flipped up and went back in, and then it's about somebody who is like hesitant to tell you how they feel. So many things remind me of you. I don't react when people mention you. Okay, so that is what I'm seeing here for our YouTube portion. So let's look at what we're going to talk about in the extended. So in the extended, we're going to see what could potentially speed up this journey to union, and then we'll also see what could slow it down. So we'll see like what is, if there is anything you should do or there anything you should not do. We will see that, and then we'll also see how aligned are both of you to this union, and then we will try to get a time frame of when is union likely to happen. And I've been giving a slow time frame and also a faster time frame for this. So yeah, okay. So if this is where I'm leaving you off, that's totally okay. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for letting me give you this reading. I hope it was helpful. And yeah, if you are interested in the extended, it is linked in the description below, and I'll see you over there. Also, if you want to book a private reading with me, you can go ahead and email me. My email is in the description below too. Okay, you guys, bye. Hey guys, if you chose the Phantasma Tarot with the Lover's card here, and you chose this white jade, this is your group. Hello, group number 4. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Let's quickly go over our breakdown for our reading today. And like I mentioned earlier, there is an extended. So here on YouTube, we're going to be looking at the current energies of you and the current energy of whoever you are coming into union with. And also keep in mind that like whoever this is, you know, it could be anybody. So if you have a specific person that you want to come into union with, or you're wondering like how you'll come into union with a specific person, then you can, you know, sit here with the intentions of that person. Or if you don't have anybody and you're just open to see like who is coming in, or maybe it's about your next relationship with anybody, or it's about your soulmate and when you might come into union with them. So you can really like ask about anybody, even if it's nobody that you know, so that's okay. So for the current energies, we're going to be looking at your energy in the present moment and also their energy in the present moment. And again, it does not have to overlap at all. And then we're going to look at the circumstances / series of events that will lead to your union, both on your side and on your person's side. We will see what will union be like for both of you, and then we'll also see if there's any advice, you know, that will pretty much come up just throughout the reading. And then for our extended, I'll go over this at the end, but it's just like a little bit more information on top of what we see here. And the extended will be up on Patreon, so if you already are on Patreon, you'll have immediate access to it. If not, then that's okay. You know, the link will be in the description. You can join Patreon as a subscription base, or wait, did I just say description? Yeah. You can join it as a subscription, or you can just purchase it as a one-time purchase. You'll have the option to do both. But on Patreon, there are a ton of in-depth readings just like these on YouTube, where the viewers get to suggest what they want to see. So it's kind of personalized over there if that's something you are interested in. Okay, so that is my little spiel. Let's get into it. I do have to say something for group 4. When I sat down to pull the cards for what we are starting off with, it's really interesting because I noticed that this bird up here is holding like a letter or something, like a piece of mail. And that made me think that maybe for some of you, there is communication that you are waiting on. You're waiting on to hear from somebody. For some of you, there could be distance. So right now it's like you're only communicating through, you know, like texts or emails or FaceTime, but it's not like in person. But yeah, for some of you, you could be in some kind of a long distance situation and you're like waiting to hear from them, or you can only communicate online. And then for others of you, maybe you have somebody on your mind and you're just waiting to hear from them in general. And then, yeah, you know, that doesn't really have to resonate with everyone, but I was just kind of picking up on that because I saw this little bird here. Or for those of you, if you don't have somebody, then maybe you're just waiting to hear from your soulmate, or you're waiting to hear from your next person or your divine counterpart. Like you have somebody, like you know you have somebody, but you don't know who they are. You're kind of waiting on them. Or this could even be like receiving signs and synchronicities about somebody too. So yeah, I wanted to mention that. So let's get into it. The cards on this side, this is all about your energy in your current life. So this doesn't really have to do anything with love life. It could, and it also doesn't have to do anything with this person. This is just your energy on your own, wherever you are right now watching this. And then this will be your person's energy, whoever it is that you're coming into union with, and it's their current energy wherever they are in life right now. And then this is kind of like either a mutual energy between the two of you, or just some kind of like an underlining connecting energy between the two of you about your union, pretty much. Okay, so let's get started. And as usual, if the energy check does not sound like you, then definitely go ahead and check out a different group. So let's start off with group 4's current energy. We have the 4 of Pentacles. It says saving money, security, conservation, scarcity, control, frugal, you know what I mean. I can't, for some reason, put the L-I-T-Y on the end of that. Okay, interesting. 4 of Pentacles. Ooh, 2 of Wands in the reverse. I'm going to keep it in the reverse. This is the first group where I felt the need to keep the card in the reverse because that makes a lot of sense together. Ooh, and we have the shadow with fear. So this is the devil. Looks kind of creepy for sure. Okay. You could be afraid of letting go of something or someone, because the Two of Wands in the reverse and the Four of Pentacles, that makes a lot of sense, because the Four of Pentacles, you're holding on to something and you're not letting it go for whatever reason. And in this case, it could be because of fear, or you're afraid of what life could be like without it. You're afraid what the repercussions could be. You're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, it really just ties back to you're holding on to something because you're afraid of letting it go. And then here we see the Two of Wands in the reverse. And the Two of Wands talks about new possibilities, new options. You know, Spirit is saying like you have many paths in front of you, or you can take different steps. You can take different paths, different opportunities. It just feels like there's many doors that could be opened up for you with the Two of Wands, and that you have options to kind of do what you want to do, or just essentially move forward in some way, but you're choosing one option. So with this in the reverse, it feels like you're not moving forward. You're kind of staying still. And then with this, you're holding on to something. So it makes sense that you're kind of staying still in your current path, or you're in your current energy, because you're holding on to something, which ties back to you being afraid of what could happen if you let go of it. For some of you, this could be about a past relationship or a past person, because, you know, we see like you, for some of you, you could be waiting on communication from somebody, or you're still holding on to something about like some hope, because that's what's not letting you move forward. You know, say if this is about your love life, you're holding on hope, or you're holding on to the idea of this person, or you're holding on to their energy, you're holding on to something about that person because you have hope that they would eventually come back around. But for some of you, I almost wonder, because with the devil card here and the shadow, I almost wonder if there's certain things that you have to like heal from and work through, and that's why you're still holding on to it, because you are afraid of what that healing journey could look like, or what could really come up to the surface if you do, you know, allow yourself to kind of walk away from something. But it really feels like, so if it's about your love life, you know, you could be holding on to a past person, and that kind of keeps you stuck or very stagnant in your love life, and you're not able to move forward with somebody new, or you're just not able to move on from it because maybe you still have hope, or even some kind of like a trauma bond, or some kind of, there could be something, you know, deep down that you would know what it is, but something is like causing you to hold on to this person. But it just doesn't seem, maybe for some of you, it's out of your control, like you want to move on, but there is this fear that's holding you back from moving on. Okay, very specific energy. So, you know, this is the last group that I'm recording, but yeah, very specific energy for group 4. And it's interesting you got the four card, Four of Pentacles, when you're group 4. So if you already feel like this totally is not you, then definitely check out something else, because I almost feel like this would be for a very specific few people. So let's go ahead and see what is this person's current energy. And this is just whoever it is you're coming into union with. Five of Wands in the reverse. You know, I don't always agree with the keywords. I can read it. It says avoiding conflict, respecting differences, agreeing to disagree, and diversity. I don't always agree with keywords, because we all have our own interpretations of the card. So sometimes I don't even read the keywords, but since I read it for that one, I was like, okay, I'll read it for this one. Oh, Two of Cups. Well, that's nice. Oh, Knight of Hearts with a romance. This is the Knight of Cups. Aw. Okay. I'm starting to see the picture here. And this is, again, a very specific energy. For group 4, it could be that there is some like deep-rooted trauma, or there's something much deeper than surface level, because obviously with whatever's going on here and your inability to move forward in your love life, or maybe it's your inability to trust people again or to let people in, or it's like you're holding on to something that could have happened to you in your past, or holding on to things, you know, maybe your own beliefs, maybe your own limiting beliefs. It's like you're holding on to something that is keeping you stuck, but it is rooted in fear. And you're not able to move forward, especially in your love life, or when it comes to trusting people, when it comes to letting people in, you're not able to do that. And whoever this person is, whether you know them or you don't know them, they're almost the total opposite of what your energy seems like. And I almost feel like this could really be, well, no, for some of you, it's possible you don't know this person. For some of you, maybe you do know this person, but it feels like this person is very genuine towards love. And I also feel like when you do meet this person, they're going to be very genuine towards you. But it almost feels like you have these walls up, and it's going to be hard for them to get through to you, because with the Knight of Cups and the Two of Cups, this person is looking for love, and they're looking for genuine love. They're looking for that soulmate. I think they're ready to love somebody and to take care of somebody and to just genuinely be like a perfect partner to somebody. We have so much love here on this person's end, and I feel like this person has healed a lot from whatever they have gone through in life, or just, you know, wherever they are right now in their current energy. They've healed a lot from their past. And I think they are pretty much on like this clean slate to where they are just ready to be in a relationship. They're ready to love. They're ready to commit to somebody. And it feels like you're on very different energies right now with whoever this person is, because it feels like they have done the healing, or they have done the shadow work. They have worked through the icky, tough situations from their past, or from past trauma, past situations, and they have found peace and balance in their life again, and they're doing really good in life. But I feel like on this end, there hasn't been that shadow work that needs to be done, or there's certain things on this end that still need to be worked on in order to kind of get the movement going again, because it feels very stuck and very much like at a standstill. And I feel like Spirit is saying there's certain things Group 4 needs to heal from and work through in order to get the ball moving again. And I do feel like I got a very specific energy of like, if you do know this person, or when you do meet this person and you do come into each other's lives, I think you would be kind of cynical with them if you were in your current energy. So we will see, because we're going to look at the journey to union. So we'll see, because it's possible you will heal from whatever this is, and by the time you do come into union, you are a different version of yourself. But I almost feel like if we were just looking at your current energies of these two people right here coming into union, it feels like you would be a little cynical, or you would like not believe them. You wouldn't trust them. You wouldn't allow them to come in. And I think this is just such a lover. You know, they're such a loving, they're like a bear, like a teddy bear. They're just such a lover. They're so cuddly. Their energy is so soft and it's so genuine. And I feel like there would be some clashes, because I think they would want to love you. They would want to give you everything and be there for you, and they would see all these amazing qualities about you, but I think you would shut it down. And I think Spirit is saying like this type of love is possible for you, Group 4, and like it's here. You know, this is who you are going to come into union with. But unless certain things are worked on in your life, especially healing and whatever this shadow work is, whatever this is that is causing you to be stuck and you're unable to move forward from it, you know, this love is available to you, for you. But it's like if you were to stay in this energy, then these energies would clash and you would never really get along. You would never find that love you're looking for. So it almost feels like Spirit is encouraging you to get some movement going, get the ball rolling, you know, try to figure out what can you do to move forward from this stagnant energy. And that will open up love for you. It almost feels like it would put you on the wavelength of attracting the type of love that you want, or the love that you deserve. It almost feels like you're in a different wavelength right now in your current energy when it comes to the type of love that you want, because certain things haven't been fully healed or fully worked through. I don't know if you're waiting on somebody, group 4, like this 4 of Pentacles, sometimes it can be a bit of a stubborn energy. So I don't know if you're like waiting on somebody to come back around into your life, or you're waiting. It's like, it feels like you have something very specific going on and you're like waiting for it, or you're giving it the benefit of the doubt. And it just feels like you're not moving until it comes to you. Or it's like I don't know why I'm getting a stubborn energy. I'm not saying you're stubborn, but I think there's something about the energy here where you're very like fixated and very tunnel visioned on like one person. And you're kind of just like, you know, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna sit around and I'm gonna wait. Or there's something like that going on here. Or if it's not about a person, then it's about like an event, something that happened to you that you are holding on to, that you are unable to let go of. Let's see what is kind of like the mutual or connecting energies between these two people here. 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. Let me clarify. Can we clarify this 8 of Pentacles in the reverse? Oh my gosh, the Chariot. That's so funny because the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse is also an energy of lack of movement. It's an energy of lack of progress, lack of effort, lack of anything to like get something moving, or to like make to plan something, to grow something. It's like the lack of anything. It's just kind of existing. Nothing is being added to it. So it's not moving, or it's not progressing, it's not building in any way. And then we clarify it by the Chariot. It almost feels like, for some of you, if this is somebody that you know, and you know that this person wants to love you, you know that this is a genuine energy, and this is somebody that is like a good person. Because if this is somebody that you know, it really feels like this person wants to move forward with you in some kind of a relationship. For this to be like the mutual or underlining energy, it's like they want to move forward with you. They see your worth, they see your potential, they see your beauty, they see all these amazing things about you that you might not see yourself. And I almost feel like they're trying to get you to like go out with them, or they're trying to get you to put your walls down and to like let them in. But I feel like there's really this huge wall around you, or around your heart, group 4, that is not allowing this person to come in. It does feel like there's some kind of a barrier between you and this person right now in your current energy. So we will see what is the series of events that lead to union. So, I mean, this energy could totally change, you know, as we're seeing how you guys are healing and evolving and coming together. But it almost feels like in the current energy of what we're seeing, in this very specific energy too, it just feels like it's very one-sided. Like somebody is pursuing group 4, but group 4 is really not allowing it to come in. Group 4 is not letting their walls down, but it's because group 4 is holding on to something, and a lot of it could be tied to fear or shadow work that still needs to be done. So let's break it down, and let's, you know, I really don't like this Devil card. I'm gonna cover it up. It kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, if I'm being honest. So let's go ahead. Even this is literally a soulmate card, the 2 of Cups. Like, if you know this person, they, oh my gosh, I would say they're probably already in love with you, or they could see themselves with you long term, if you know who this person is in their current energy. If you don't, then I think this person is just really looking for their soulmate, and they're in that energy in life right now, to where they really want a partner, they really want somebody, But for a lot of you, I do feel like if you know this person, they've probably already made it known to you that like they're interested in you and they're interested in like moving this forward somehow. You could also be afraid of getting hurt again, especially if you've been hurt in the past because you let somebody in and you let your walls down and that person hurt you. There seems to be a level of projection in group 4's current energy, that they are projecting either their own insecurities or their own fears or past traumas. It's like you're projecting it outward and you're thinking that like other people are going to reflect it back to you. And that's where this fear comes in of like, okay, like, you know, they're just gonna hurt me because they can see that I'm broken. They're just gonna break me down even more. It kind of feels like that, but in reality, I feel like a lot of this is in your head, or a lot of this is just healing that needs to be done, and you wouldn't feel this way anymore. Or a lot of this is, yeah, like there's like a lack of healing. Okay, very specific energy, you guys. Probably gonna be for like just a few people that click on this group. So, you know, if this really doesn't sound like you, please check out a different group, because I almost like, I don't want to be, I don't know, it's like it's kind of an intense energy, and I don't want to like offend anybody or to hurt anybody. And it just feels like if you know for sure this is not your energy and you're not dealing with something like this, then definitely check out a different group. Okay, so I have two decks here. The deck over here, this is what we're going to use this to look at your journey to union, and then this is going to be your person's journey to union. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, for group 4, what is group 4's journey to union with this person? What does their journey to union look like for group 4? This almost feels like you're hiding away. Like the visual that I received, it's like you're hiding in a cave, but you're trying not to be seen by like the world. You're trying not to be heard. You're just like really hiding, but you think that's what's going to protect you. This hiding and like pulling away and like detaching from people, detaching from emotions or from connections, relationships. Like you feel like that cave is going to protect you, but it's actually causing you to fall deeper and deeper into that hole, because there's like other things that need to be done, such as healing. And I think healing would actually give you the clarity that you're seeking. But for some reason, it feels like you shutting yourself off in some way is like your defense mechanism. And you think that's what's going to protect you long term. But I really just feel like it's actually causing you to move backwards in the long term. Okay, so let's start off with group 4's journey to union first. All right, let's see. Group 4's journey to union. What is the first stage of their journey? What's going to happen first? The 2 of Swords. Ouch. Okay. What is their second stage going into union? 2 together. You have the Sun in the reverse and the King of Swords. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay. What's happening next? The 5 of Cups. And then what is union going to look like for group 4? What is union with this person going to look like and feel like? Oh my gosh. Oh, the Star. Okay. Let's kind of make some space here. These cards are quite large. Okay, this feels good. It feels, you know, it feels like there is a shift. Oh, 10 of Cups, bottom of the deck. There is a shift, definitely, from your current energy of what I'm sensing like right now to when you are on this journey to union, group 4. There's definitely a shift, which is good. That's what I was hoping to see, which essentially just shows me that you will be healing and working through things from now, which is this, onto union with this person. So your energy is shifting and you are healing and you are working through things. So I will explain all of that in a second. I want to get their journey to union now. Okay, so for this person here, let's see, what is their journey to union? What does their journey to union with group 4 look like? What is their first step in this journey to union? We have the Hierophant. What is, whoa, oh my god, that literally almost caught on fire. Quite literally exploding. The Sun, so the Sun is out here on both of your ends. What does their journey to union look like for this person? What does their journey to union look like? And what does union actually look and feel like for this person with group 4? What does union look and feel like for them? I'll get one more. What does union look and feel like for them? We have the Two of Wands out here twice because that is the card that you got here. Okay, so to start off with group 4's journey to union here, your first card that comes up is the Two of Swords. So I definitely think that when this person comes into your life, you are definitely going to have your walls up with that Two of Swords. So for some of you, if you feel like you already know who this person is, then it's like you already have your wall up. You already have your defense up, like you are not letting this person come in. And for those of you, if you don't know who this person is, it would be the same thing. Whenever this person enters your life, you would have your wall up towards them. You would not trust them and you would not want to let them into your life. And I think there's something about this person just that feels like they're going to be persistent. And I don't think it's an annoying persistence. I don't think this is like a creepy, like, oh, but this person won't leave me alone. Like, I don't think it's like that. I don't think you're going to get bad vibes, or like, I don't think you're going to feel like, you know, it's not creepy, it's not weird, but I do think this person is going to be persistent when they enter your energy, because for them, like, they see how amazing you are, they see how beautiful you are, they see your potential, and we were saying that from the very beginning. So for them, it just feels like, I'm not going to give up on group 4, because I just feel like this could be my person, this could be my soulmate. I really, really want this to work. Like, I want to pursue group 4 because I just feel like in my soul, I just feel like they could be the one for me. So I feel like this person is going to be persistent with you, but you're going to keep like shutting them down, or you're going to keep them at a distance because, again, you are afraid of letting somebody in romantically. So it does feel like you would keep them at a distance. And it's interesting, we have the Sun in the reverse and the King of Swords. This energy feels like you're not going to get your hopes up, you know, because the Sun is about happiness. It's the happiest card in the deck. But with that in the reverse, it feels like you're keeping your emotions at bay and you're not getting your hopes up and you're not getting emotionally involved or emotionally invested. It feels like you're just literally like, maybe you're allowing them to come in, maybe you're allowing them to hang out with you or spend time with you or get to know you, but you are like, I'm not going to get emotionally invested, and you're like pushing it away. And with the King of Swords, you know, this King of Swords is very logical, they're very realistic, they're very practical, and they don't tap into their emotions very much. So these together, and the fact they came out together, really feels like maybe you slowly start to let this person in, but you're going to keep at arm's length, and you're not going to get emotionally invested or emotionally attached. But it feels like you just don't want to get your hopes up. You know, it feels like you don't want to have expectations, and you don't want to get your hopes up. You don't want to get emotionally invested because you feel like, oh, it's just not going to work anyway. I think, or even when you first meet this person or get to know this person, there's some kind of a cynical energy even here when it comes to how you are viewing the situation. And even this, like trying not to get your hopes up too much, that again feels like a defense mechanism, because it feels like it's like the energy of like you're telling yourself, well, if we don't get emotionally invested, we don't have expectations, we don't get our hopes up, then we can't get hurt. Because how can, you know, because if all of these things don't happen, like how could I get hurt if I wasn't expecting it in the first place? And I think it is a form of a defense mechanism, because you're telling yourself, okay, well, I'm just going to be like stone cold. I'm not going to get invested, because if it blows up in my face, then I won't get hurt, and I'll be fine, and I can just move on. I feel like you're going into it with that kind of like a wall up kind of a situation, if that makes sense. But it's interesting because then we see the Five of Cups, which talks about sadness. And I think you're realizing on this journey to union, I think this journey actually heals you a lot, or kind of gets that healing journey started. So that's another reason for some of you, you could already know this person, or you could really be meeting them pretty soon, because we're not seeing much of a difference going from your current energy into the early stages of meeting this person and getting into this journey to your union here. And if this is not about this person and you really haven't met this person yet, then this could be just about life in general. You know, we could still view this as like you just kind of have your walls up. You're not allowing yourself to be happy or to get emotionally invested. You're not allowing yourself to have expectations about life in general. You know, if it's not about a specific person or love in general, relationships in general, you're just not allowing yourself to feel certain things if you don't know who this person is. But I think no matter what the situation is, you're going to get to a point where there's this Five of Cups, where there's this sadness. And especially if like you already meet them in this era right here before union, or like you're getting to know them, I feel like it's going to heal you a lot. And maybe that's what will happen for some of you. It's like this person enters your life and they make you realize that like you don't have to be cooped up. You don't have to be in this cave. You don't have to pretend that you don't have a heart, or you don't have to go into things, you know, with no expectations and no emotional investment in anything, because you realize like that's not the life you want to live. And I think you were kind of coasting, group 4, like you were just coasting and you were able to get away with it for a while because nobody like challenged you until this person comes into your life. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like they come into your life and they challenge you and they make you realize there can be happiness. There can be, you know, you can, like, there's not pain. You don't always have to feel pain. You don't always have to feel heartbreak. Not all relationships are bad. I think this person comes in and they challenge your view on this situation, and they help you realize that you have been hiding yourself away. And I think that's where the sadness comes in, because you realize what I thought was a defense mechanism was actually self-sabotage this entire time. And I don't think this is a sadness about them. I don't think this is a sadness about anything they do to you in your journey or you getting to know each other. I think they just make you realize you have been tucked away for too long. And there's so much happiness in this world. There's so much happiness and love in relationships. There's so many good people out there, you know, because we start off kind of cynical, but they help you realize you don't have to be that way. And I think that is what's going to kind of trigger your healing. Because that's when you're going to realize, I don't want to hold on to these negative beliefs. I don't want to hold on to this past trauma or this fear, this shadow. I don't want to hold on to that anymore, because you realize like time is just passing you by. Your life is passing you by, but you're still stuck in time. You're frozen in time in a way, and you don't want to be like that anymore. and this person comes in and they give you hope, and it feels like they rejuvenate you, you know, they like wake you up from your slumber. Literally feels like Sleeping Beauty. Like you were kind of tucked away in an energy for so long, and they wake you out of it, and they help you realize what needs to be healed. And I think, again, with the Two of Cups and the the Knight of Cups as this person's energy, even the Five of Wands in the reverse, this is a very easygoing person. They genuinely want to help you, and they genuinely care about you, and that's why they're trying to make you realize things and kind of help you get started on this healing, because they want you and they want to be there for you, you know, but they also want you to be the best version of yourselves that you can be for them. And it really feels like this person is pretty much already healed by the time they come into your life. I think they already have their life going, you know, I think they're already stable. They're pretty, you know, they're put together, they're stable, they're good in life. I think the healing is more on your side, but they're so loving and tender and nurturing that they want to help you through this healing. And then I love that union, you know, your union with this person is literally the Star and the Ten of Cups. You know, the Ten of Cups is literally happily ever after. It is complete emotional fulfillment. And it's so funny because you were living your life, or you started this journey here of being, you know, you were telling yourself you're not allowed to have expectations. You're not allowed to get emotionally invested. You're not allowed to tap into your heart space. You know, it's so funny because we see a complete 360 of when you're in union with this person and you're so emotionally invested, but you feel so loved and you're so emotionally satisfied and emotionally fulfilled. And you know, the Ten of Cups also talks about like marriage and commitment and living together and kids potentially, if that's like what you want. Like this is literally the full package, and that's what this union will give you, and that's what this person will provide to you. And you know what started all of it is just that you let them in. That's what changed everything. It changed the perspective that you have towards love or relationships. It helps you heal what needs to be healed in love and relationships, but it all started because you let them in. And that's what it feels like. You've just been coasting for a while because nobody challenged you enough to where you're like, maybe I could let this person in, or like nobody sparked you, like gave you that spark in a way to where you realize, okay, maybe I am missing out on something. Like nobody made you realize that, and nobody got you to come out of that cave up until now when you meet this person or start this journey. But yeah, I mean, and the Star, like you're healing so much with this person, and the healing doesn't stop here. I think you're going to be healing throughout a huge chunk of the early stages of the relationship, or even just going into the relationship. You are constantly evolving, but this person, they give you the time and space and the foundation to heal and to evolve. They're not just going to leave you hanging, you know, they're going to be with you that entire way. But yeah, with the Star, you're healing, you're finding happiness again, you're finding love again. This is literally like a wish come true. And it also feels like the weight of the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, because you don't have to force yourself into a false narrative. You don't have to hold on to the burdens. You don't have to like live that way anymore, you know? And I think there's just so much happiness. There's so much freedom. There's so much independence here. There's so much healing. And it just feels like you would have never got here if you would have never taken the chance and let this person in. Because it really feels like a domino effect. Like you would have to start here to eventually get here to union, and to trust them and to let them in, you know? So that's what I'm seeing on your side. And so for a lot of you, this person could really be right around the corner, because it just feels like it transitions from your current energy into this energy, which is essentially transitioning into your union. Now, this journey to union could take a while. We don't know the time frame of this, but I think you meeting this person could be right around the corner. You know, I mean, it could take a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years to like fully heal or evolve from something, or to get to this. And for some of you, you know, this is a spectrum, right? So for some of you, maybe you're already here. Maybe you've already let them in and you're kind of working through this. Maybe this is more of an energy that you are coming out of. That's totally fine too, because it's a general reading. So some of you could be closer to union if you already know them and you're already healing. Some of you could be a little farther away from union if you are still kind of in this energy here. So just kind of, you know, find yourself and find your energy and kind of just take that however that resonates with you. And the energy on their end is very simple. You know, it feels like a lot of the heaviness is on your end. But here we have the Hierophant and we have the Sun for their early stages of union or their journey to union with you. With the Hierophant, I do think this person is living a pretty good life around the time that they come into your life. So whenever you guys meet each other or kind of are energetically finding your way to each other, they're already doing really good. They could be like very financially stable. They could be very career oriented. I think this person has already built some kind of a foundation with them when they get onto this journey to union with you. So their energy starts off really good. I also think this person, there's something about like their intuition. I feel like their intuition is calling them to you. And maybe they don't realize it right away, but that's kind of what gets them on this journey to you, or that's kind of what like gets them interested in you, or like they notice you and they're like, I'm very like intrigued because my intuition is calling me to this person. So for them, there's some kind of signals that your energy is putting off and they're kind of following it, and maybe that's how they notice you or that's how they want to pursue you. But I almost feel like literally, I said that in the very beginning, but almost right away, I think this person wants commitment with you or they want to pursue you, which is why they're going to be persistent when you meet them or first get to know them, because I think they're already feeling like, oh wow, like this is somebody really special and I don't want to lose them, because they see you for who you are right away. But yeah, when it comes to their own journey to union, they're just living their life and I think they're very happy in the early stages. I think this person is also very carefree and they're very like lighthearted. They have a very childlike energy. They like to have fun. They don't take things very seriously, which is probably a good energy for you, because I think especially when we hold on to things and we're unable to let go and unable to heal, we do take things kind of really seriously, or like that thing becomes like the center of our attention and we get so tunnel visioned. I feel like this person is kind of the very opposite, and I think that energy will help you a lot, help you heal a lot, or help you kind of get out of your head a little bit. You know, it just kind of helps you overall. But yeah, I feel like early in their journey to you, they're just working. They could actually get some kind of a promotion or some kind of a raise, or their status is changing in some way in their early stages to union. And I think, yeah, almost immediately they're gonna want to work through things with you. They want to help you. They want to be there for you, and they want to be somebody you can rely on. And I love that union for them. It's the Ace of Wands, so they're so excited. Oh my gosh, I mean, they are just lit up. And this card almost literally caught on fire. So like, just imagine that as that's how they feel. They're lit up. They're so excited. There's so much passion. They just can't wait. You know, they can't like contain their excitement. They're like popping off like a firecracker. And I think almost immediately they're just like, yeah, like I'm very excited about our future. I'm very excited about where we can take this relationship. And I think they're pretty much already planning the next things. Like as you guys are getting into union, they're kind of already planning the next steps or planning what to do next with you, or, you know, all of that. They also feel like the opportunities are really endless for this connection. And this person could really like to travel. So I think that they just feel like they finally have somebody that they can share their hobbies with, share their passions with, and have fun with. I think that a lot of things in this person's life comes down to having fun and not taking life seriously. And I think you just spark them up in such a way that they just want to share everything with you and they want to live that kind of a life with you. There's when they do officially get to union with you, they're gonna feel a level of accomplishment, because maybe it took a while for some of you. I do feel like maybe they had to kind of really work for this union with you, and when they finally get there, they're like, okay, I made it, I did it. Like, there's a sense of relief and a sense of accomplishment for them, and I think they're very proud of that. Okay, group 4, that's everything I'm seeing. I love this energy for you. I love the evolution that we see here, because it is showing me that you are healing, you're evolving, and this person will get you out of this stagnation that you are in, and I love that. I love that for you. So really quickly, before I talk about the extended, I have my Hidden Truth Oracle. So if there is anybody that you want to hear messages from, you know, it does not have to be this person. It could be anybody that's in your life, from your past, just anyone that you want any channeled messages from. You can go ahead and think about them right now, and I will pull some cards. So for group 4, let's go ahead and see who is coming through for group 4. It says, I'm not available. That's interesting, because for some of you, we were already saying you could be holding on to somebody from the past, or you're waiting for somebody to come back around. And I think maybe Spirit is saying to you, like, you know, don't wait. Don't wait for this person, because maybe they're not available. This one says, I want to be more than friends. That's interesting. That could be the energy of somebody that, like, wants to hook up, or could be leading you on, but they're not fully emotionally available, and you're waiting for them to become fully emotionally available, but they're not. I hid who I really am from you. I wish I could share my good news with you. And let's get one more. Whoop. I'll take the first one that's on the very top. It says, we need to let each other go. And I think that makes a lot of sense if you are holding on to somebody, because this feels like a new person that's trying to love you. You know, they want to give you the world. And I think you really have to move on from something in order to be aligned to this person's energy. So now we're going to go into the extended. So in the extended, we're going to see what could potentially speed up the journey to union. We'll also see what could potentially slow it down. We will see how aligned are both of you to this union. And then we will see when is union likely to happen. So for this, I've been getting a shorter time frame and a longer time frame for when it's, you know, when union is likely to happen. So group number 4, that is everything I see for you. I hope this was helpful. This was a very specific energy. So again, don't make it fit if it's not for you. If it doesn't sound like you, like, do not force a reading to fit, because you should be watching something else if this was not your group. But if it was for you, then I'm very excited for your journey. I'm very excited for you to find love. And it just seems like you're coming out of that cave, and I love it. So if this is where I'm leaving you off, that's totally okay. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your support. If you are interested in the extended, like I said, it's in Patreon, or it's on Patreon. The link is in the description below. You can subscribe as a monthly subscription, or you can just purchase it as a one-time purchase. And while you're over there, there are literally like 25 plus readings, maybe even like up into 30 now, 30 readings. There's a lot. So definitely go ahead and check everything out, and everything is for individual sale if you're not interested in the subscription. But thank you guys so much. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time, or I'll see you in the extended. Bye.